Chapter 161 Volcano Season, 87 Days. This desert island survival experiment is Escape from the Desert Island. Experiment content: Escape from the desert island and find a safe house. Players above level 8 can sign up to participate. This is a server-wide competition. The system will score players based on their performance and rank them based on the scores. The experiment ends when the first 100 players appear. The scores of players after the 100th place will not be counted. At that time, the players will lock their backpacks and cannot carry any tools. They can only wear the specified clothes. The first 100 players can get a survival gift pack. The rewards for the top 10 players are 20,000 starfish coins, 1 building gift pack, and 1 random workshop construction map. The first place winner will receive a hidden reward. All rewards can be stacked. Registration time: 86-87th day of the Gregorian calendar on the sea. The competition will start at 8 a.m. on the 88th day, and players can register through the system email. Yun Mian carefully checked the email and clicked to register. The new desert island survival experiment is a brand new way. This time the main focus is escape, and the difficulty has been upgraded again. In the past, you could bring a few items, but this time you can't bring anything. No wonder only players above level 8 can register. For 20,000 starfish coins and hidden rewards, Yun Mian will of course rush. The 86th day is almost over, and there is still 1 day left. Yun Mian asked in the group who had signed up, and it turned out that except for Hu Yuan, all the people she knew had signed up. Her mother also signed up, saying that she wanted to give it a try. Yun Mian thought that the competition was going to be quite fierce this time. Her goal was to be in the top 10, or even the first. So all her friends were her competitors. She couldn't bring anything with her, so there was nothing to prepare. However, escaping from a deserted island sounded like a physical job. So Yun Mian planned to eat more and exercise more in the next 2 days. The next day, Hu Yuan organized a team of level 7 players, and listed everyone's information in a table, and sent it to Yun Mian. The table clearly lists the names, ages, skills, and jobs that these players are good at. With this table, Yun Mian can assign tasks to these people according to their situations. Starting from the 88th day, she will go to participate in the deserted island experiment. When she is not on the island, the security work will be handed over to Eva. Wally will be responsible for managing the courtyard, and Octopus Girl and Xiaoyi will be responsible for supervising the work of the engineering team to prevent anyone from being lazy. In addition, Yun Mian plans to hire another NPC as a contractor to manage this engineering team. After all, Xiaoyi and Octopus Girl cannot communicate with them, so they can only keep an eye on them to prevent them from being lazy. But if there is any problem, no one will solve it. After thinking about it, Yun Mian felt that Mario was the most suitable. After all, he was capable, had been here several times, and was familiar with the island. However, Ye Yongguang said yesterday that Mario was resting, and Yun Mian was not sure whether he could take orders. Fortunately, there was an option of hiring feedback in the system to contact Mario again. Yun Mian sent a message to Mario, asking him if he could still come to help. She could provide meals, and only needed him to help lead the engineering team to work. The workload was less, so the salary was half of the previous one, and the hiring time was about 3 to 5 days. After the message was sent, Mario waited for several hours before he replied. Mario, the children at home need to be taken care of. If you can bring the children with you and provide meals for the children, I can help without receiving any salary. Yun Mian, that's great. Do you need accommodation? Mario, no. Yun Mian didn't expect to get free labor. Mario is such a nice guy. She decided to make more delicious food for Mario, and some food that children like to eat. Yun Mian, how old is your child? What does he like to eat? Mario, he's 10 years old. Don't worry about him. He's not picky about food. He eats everything. He likes beef and seafood. He also likes pasta. Yun Mian, I see. He likes to eat the same things as you. Mario, you can say that. Yun Mian and Hu Yuan set a 3-day schedule. She expected that she could complete the experiment in about 3 days. If she didn't come back, Hu Yuan would automatically add extra time. Yun Mian also planned to take care of the food for the engineering team. After all, it is easier to work when you are full. Planting trees and crops is physical work. If you make more delicious food for them, they will work harder. A construction team consists of 10 people, plus Mario and his son. A total of 12 people. Calculated for 5 days. Yun Yanyan has a lot of food to prepare. It seems that she will have to spend the whole day tomorrow preparing food. Yun Yanyan came to the warehouse and prepared to make a menu. For 5 days. It is best not to repeat the menu every day, and it is better to eat in a variety of ways. If you consume too much physical energy, you should supplement more protein. For example, milk, eggs, beef and mutton. These foods are very good. It would be better to eat some oats or brown rice, and add some fruits and vegetables to go with it. Yun Yanyan bought some oats and brown rice at the trading center, and she had the rest in her warehouse. She was about to go to the kitchen to prepare food when she received a message from Gu Fong saying that he had arrived at the gate of the courtyard. Yun Yanyan invited him to help farm today. Although Gu Fong also signed up for the desert island survival experiment, everyone was the same. There was nothing to prepare, and he agreed to come to work and came on time. Yun Yanyan originally planned to let him help farm, but now she changed her mind. Why don't you help me make something? I don't have much time. I have to make food for the whole day today, and I can't stay at the workbench. Yun Yanyan needs to make more furniture to increase the shift score. These things can be sold at a high price. If she works all day, she can only make 20 pieces a day, and she has to work on 2 workbenches. She can't do it alone, so she can only ask Gu Fong to help. Anyway, the engineering team will come tomorrow, and someone will do the farming work. Gu Fong readily agreed. Anyway, he can do anything as long as Yun Yanyan tells him. Yun Yanyan handed him the materials and drawings. It usually takes 1 or 2 hours to make furniture, and this time is just enough to work in the mill and sausage workshop. The mill and sausage workshop are very simple to use. You just need to put rice or wheat into the production basket of the mill and click to process, and you can get rice or flour soon. The sausage workshop puts meat and casings into the production machine to get different types of sausages. The meat used to make sausages is usually chicken, beef, or pork. Of course, chicken and pork can be mixed together to make sausages with a richer taste, because chicken is drier and pork is too fat to neutralize it. The casings can be natural, large intestine, small intestine, and bladder. This kind of casing is generally made of sausage. Animal skins can also be used to make casings, such as pig skin, cow skin, and sheep skin. If animal skins are used, grilled sausages and authentic sausages are made. The worst is to use plastic to make casings, which can only serve as packaging and cannot be eaten. If you want to make starch sausage, you use plastic. But Yun Yanyan doesn't make starch sausage very often. She prefers to make meat sausage. After making it, she puts it in a sunny place to dry, and then stores it. These are all the results of Yun Yanyan's repeated experiments. She didn't know at the beginning, but as long as she experiments more, she can get new varieties. She can make hundreds of sausages in a day. Yun Yanyan has processed hundreds of kilograms of rice before, and now there is a lot of rice in the warehouse. She needs a lot of flour, so she asked Gu Fong to process more wheat and make some meat sausages. She plans to use a multifunctional cooking pot to grill 50 grilled sausages and make them into sandwiches or small hamburgers. Yun Yanyan came to the breeding room, picked up 10 fat chickens, and processed them all. The chicken breasts were coated with flour and bread crumbs and fried into chicken fillets. The chicken legs and wings were made into fried chicken. The chicken feet were made into tiger skin chicken feet. The internal organs were made into hot and sour chicken offal. The chicken racks and some bony parts were used for stewing or frying. The chicken skin was made into skewers, and the lanterns were used for roasting birds. There are many ways to cook a chicken, and Yun Yanyan made various kinds of dishes. Just chicken can be made into 6 dishes, if it is not troublesome. She can also make some cold chicken shreds, chicken rolls, cola chicken wings, etc. However, time is tight, and after processing the chicken, she picked a large piece of beef, steak, sirloin, and beef, 3 parts, made into grilled steak, tofu stewed sirloin bibimbap, and beef sukiyaki pot. Make some porridge and stir-fried vegetables. On a whim, Yun Yanyan also made some snail noodles. The snails were boiled into soup with various spices, and then added with grilled sausages, tiger skin chicken feet, bean curd and pickled bamboo shoots. It was quite similar, and smelled very fragrant. I guess her homemade snail noodles are not very authentic. But anyway, the 5-day meals for 12 people were solved. Yun Yinyan felt that as she left this game, she could open a restaurant. If her cooking skills could be brought back to the real world, her restaurant would definitely be full every day. Yun Yinyan didn't come out of the kitchen until 5 or 6 in the afternoon. She had forgotten about Gu Fong. She had made so much food, but didn't give him any food. But Gu Fong was really a good worker. Seeing that Yun Yinyan was very busy, he didn't bother her at all. When he was hungry, he took some bread from his backpack to fill his stomach. When Yun Yinyan came to find him, he was putting wheat into the basket. At the end of the day, he produced more than 100 kilograms of flour. Yun Yinyan was very pleased to see the pile of flour next to him. You've worked hard. Take a rest and have dinner together. Gu Fong began to report today's results to Yun Yinyan. I made about 100 kilograms of flour and 3 kinds of sausages. Chicken sausage, pork sausage, and some beef sausage. A total of more than 200. He said this after opening his backpack, fearing that he remembered it wrongly. I made 10 pieces of furniture. That one took a long time, so I did it on time. Yun Yinyan, very good. You helped a lot. Gu Fong, it's my duty. He had always wanted to repay Yun Yinyan. And this little thing was nothing. Yun Yinyan, it just so happens that I made a lot of food. Take a look and choose whatever you want to eat. You can also take it back if you want. Yun Yinyan took him to the restaurant, opened the backpack, and took out the food one by one. The huge dining table was filled with food, and the aroma was so fragrant that Gu Fong's stomach growled. Gu Fong was stunned. This is too much. Yun Yinyan, if there is nothing you want to eat, I will make it again for you. Gu Fong spent a long time choosing and chose snail noodles and beef brisket rice. Yun Yinyan chose snail noodles and fried chicken wings. The two discussed this desert island survival experiment while eating. As a survival expert, Gu Fong has a lot of suggestions that are worth listening to. He has shared a lot of survival methods before and helped many people. Yun Yinyan also happened to have a lot of questions to ask him. To get a higher score, you must pay attention to details. Not the faster the better. Of course, the faster the time, the higher the score. It's just that in the same time, if you can do better, you can enter the top 10. What do you think is the most important thing to escape from a deserted island? Yun Yinyan took a bite of the tiger skin chicken feet. The skin was already cooked and soaked up the soup. After taking a bite, the spicy soup flowed into her mouth and almost choked her. Gu Fong, I think the most important thing is to find the right route from the beginning. Otherwise it is easy to waste too much time. Yun Yinyan, if there are 2 roads, one can obviously reach the destination but takes more time, and the other may save most of the time. But the risk factor is higher, and there is a possibility of going the wrong way. Which one would you choose? Chapter 162 Volcano Season, 88 Days. Gu Fong, I should choose the safer and more secure one. Nothing is more important than safety. Once there is a problem, it will be a loss of both the wife and the army. After that, Gu Fong smiled bitterly. You also know my luck. I will not take risks. I would rather take one step at a time. Gu Fong has never been associated with the word luck since he was a child. He will think of the worst possible situation when doing anything and try to minimize the risk. So when Yun Yinyan asked him this question, he could answer it without thinking. Of course, Yun Yinyan is different from him. Yun Yinyan is a well-known European emperor with enviable good luck. Gu Fong has long been accustomed to different fates for the same person. So he continued, if your goal is to be in the top 10, some risks must be taken. But my goal is only the top 100. So I just need to not make mistakes. Gu Fong's words were very sincere. Yun Yinyan nodded. After returning from this deserted island survival experiment, I will sprint to level 10. I really need the reward for the top 10, which is the 20,000 starfish coins. Gu Fong, I don't know if everyone in this competition is on the same island or scattered. Yun Yinyan, not sure. Only players above level 8 can register. And I guess there won't be many people. Gu Fong, luckily I have your help. I just clicked the upgrade button before I came to you. Otherwise, I would not even be qualified to participate. Yun Yinyan, you deserve it. We all have to work hard in this competition. The competition is very fierce. Go back and rest early after eating. The competition will start tomorrow morning. Regain your energy. Yun Yinyan took out 2 portions of food for Gu Fong. Eat more before leaving tomorrow. If you are full, you will not have to eat for the whole day tomorrow. After Gufan left, Yun Mianmian sent some food to her relatives and friends. After sending it out, she found that the food prepared for the engineering team was not enough. She had to cook 2 large pots of rice, more than 20 bowls of Cantonese sausage clay pot rice, and more than 200,000 corn, ham, and carrot fried rice. It was not until 11 o'clock in the evening that Yun Mianmian had time to open the panel to check the news. In addition to arranging an engineering team for her, Hu Yuan also needed people from other places to go there. And everyone was chatting in the group. Yun Mianmian's team had 10 people. Ye Yangguan wanted 5 people. And the others also started with 3 people. Just for this group of people, they had to hire more than 30 players. The news that Hu Yuan sent messages to recruit people in the chat channel and forum also spread. Players found that there were many high-level players who had reached level 9 at present. At least not as Xia Tianxia said. And most people gave up the idea of joining him. It is better to earn resources for yourself to upgrade than to help others develop. But there are still some people who don't want to live in fear anymore, and are willing to work for Xia Tianxia for free, just in exchange for a chance to live on the island. Xia Tianxia originally said that he would only accept level 8 players. But after Nie Yangguang's disturbance, no level 8 players came to him at all. Only some level 7 players sent him messages. Anyway, it's free labor. Xia Tianxia thought about it and accepted it. After all, if others want to hire level 7 players to work, they have to pay for materials. But these people are free. And his island area is 60,000 square meters. So it's not a problem to have a few more people living on it. Xia Tianxia accepted 10 level 7 players in one go. And he had planned what kind of work to assign to these 7 people when they came. And then he only needed to watch these people work. He was still struggling whether to sign up for this deserted island experiment. After all, he would be there for several days. And there would be no one watching over the island. He was worried about letting others live there. But he also wanted starfish coins. When he reached level 9, he would find out how important starfish coins were for island construction. In the past, he only knew that starfish coins were needed to buy things in the mall, and they were not used anywhere else. So he used them all to buy things in the early stage. Now there were only a few starfish coins left, and he didn't even have enough to upgrade. After much hesitation, Xia Tianxia decided not to go. He could let these 10 level 7 players collect all the starfish coins together to upgrade the island buildings. Anyway, they had all joined him, and the island belonged to everyone, so they must be upgraded together. There is strength in numbers. His island will be the strongest in the server. Maybe in the future, he can build a resort on the island and become the owner. Players from all servers will rush to his island. He can even charge admission tickets. Xia Tian thought more and more and fell asleep happily. 7 a.m. on the 88th day of the Gregorian calendar at sea. All players who signed up for the 3rd Desert Island Survival Experiment received a message from the system. The Desert Island Escape Experiment is about to begin. The game has selected 12 different islands for players to conduct the experiment. Players can choose their own islands. Each island has different difficulties, and the scores obtained will be adjusted accordingly. The higher the difficulty, the larger the island. After completing the test, the higher the score. Please choose carefully. Please make your choice before 8 o'clock. Otherwise the system will randomly assign an island. Players, please make a choice. 1. Pacific Pearl Island, sea level. 2. Tropical Rainforest Island, B level. 3. Polar Island, A level. 4. Era Spider Forest Island, A level. 5. Xiagua Hainan Island, B level. 6. Volcano Hell Island, A level. 7. Rift Valley Island, B level. 8. Hurricane Island, A level. 9. Jumble Island, C level. 10. Monkey Island, C level. 11. Shark Island, A level. 12. Swamp Island, A level. The 12 islands are dazzling. But fortunately, the system has graded each island. And the characteristics of these islands can also be seen from the names. There are 3 B-level and 3 C-level islands, but 6 A-level islands. Yun Mianmian plans to choose an island with high difficulty. The 6 A-level islands have different styles, so it is really difficult to make a decision immediately. Someone in the chat channel analyzed each island. In my opinion, Hainan Island is the least difficult of all the islands. Are there any locals in Hainan who can tell me about it? Don't do it. Do you think the system is letting you go on vacation? If the difficulty is too low, you probably won't even get a name. But the system said that as long as you escape from the island in the first 100, you will get a ranking. If you go to a simple island, you can escape within the top 100. That being said, isn't it unfair to the players who choose the island with high difficulty? The players on the sea level island have all escaped, and the scores after 100 will not be counted. It's not that simple. I suspect that if you choose a sea level island, it means giving up the top 10. But if people with no strength choose B or a level, they probably won't even make it to the top 100. In Yun Yinyan's friend chat group, everyone is discussing where to go. But after all, everyone is the same, not knowing how to choose. Sister Minyan, where are you going? Luo Zhe sent a private message to Yun Yinyan. Yun Yinyan, I haven't decided yet. What about you? I want to choose an A-class island. If nothing unexpected happens, many people will choose a B-class island. Those who have some ability will not choose a C-class island. However, considering that scores after 100 are not counted, most people are not willing to take risks. So a B-class island is the best choice. However, there are only 3 B-class islands, and the competition will be greater. It is better to choose a difficult A-class island to challenge. Yun Yinyan and Luo Zhe thought similarly. So which one do you choose? Shark Island seems thrilling. But as long as my sister and I choose Shark Island, I should be fine with her. Do you want to join us? If I go with the Luo siblings, my safety will be more guaranteed. But what if the system does not allow players to act together? What if this competition is a standalone game? Then it will be out of plan. Yun Yinyan couldn't pin her hopes on others. She still had to choose an island that was more suitable for her. Among the A-level islands, which one was the most suitable for her? Yun Yinyan locked on 2 of them. The Era Spider Forest Island and the Volcano Hell Island. Just when she was having difficulty choosing, Wei Yue sent a message. Wei Yue, I chose the Volcano Hell Island. What about you? Okay. Wei Yue helped Yun Yinyan make a decision in disguise. Since Wei Yue chose the Volcano Island, she would choose another one. I choose the Era Spider Forest Island. Wei Yue didn't ask why, but sent a message, okay. Be careful. After deciding on the island, Yun Yinyan's heart settled down. She sent the option number to the system, and quickly locked on the island she was about to go to. A countdown appeared on the panel. There are still 10 minutes before the transmission. Yun Yinyan quickly took out the lucky dice. The number that appeared made her a little uneasy. Today's fortune is not good. It is a case of good times after bad times. Every time this fortune appears, she always encounters some troubles, or is not very satisfactory. Although the final result is not bad. Now it seems that she will suffer a little today. But there is no way. Yun Yinyan adjusted her mentality. While eating, setting up the program of Wally and Eva, and replenishing the energy stones needed in the next few days, he began to instruct Octopus Sister and Xiaoyi again. When I'm not around, you should eat on time, and don't eat too much. You two supervise each other. I have put away the food in the warehouse. 2 meals a day. 1 portion each time. If anyone eats more, tell me when I come back. These two don't get along with each other. They supervise each other very well. If one does not do well, the other will definitely complain. Yun Yinyan thought it was not good before, and affected the relationship. But it was suitable when she was not at home. Otherwise, the two would get involved and she couldn't control them. In the last few minutes, the decoration team and Mario also arrived at the gate of the courtyard. Mario's child is simply a smaller version of Mario. He looks exactly like him, but he is a little smaller. They are very funny standing together. Mario asked his son to greet Yun Yinyan. Call me sister. Hello, sister. Yun Yinyan took out some homemade cookies for him, and used the last bit of time to introduce Mario to others. As soon as she finished speaking, she was enveloped by a white light, and disappeared in front of everyone. The desert island survival experiment begins, and the escape from the desert island begins. Yun Yinyan was swept up by a powerful force. When she opened her eyes, she found herself thrown into a river. The river water was warm, and the scorching sun was overhead, making people feel uncomfortable. This river was not clean. There seemed to be many microorganisms in it, but there were no river shrimps. This means that the water in this river is very dirty, and not suitable for river shrimps to survive. Yun Yinyan hurried out of the river. Her clothes were thin, and were completely soaked. She had to wring out her clothes quickly. Otherwise it would be very uncomfortable to be wet, and it would increase the burden on her body, and affect her speed. The sun was blazing at this time. It was only 8 o'clock. But it was so hot. The water here was not drinkable. She had to find a source of drinkable water quickly. Although the mission this time was to escape from the deserted island, it was also a protracted war. It was impossible for Yue to escape in one day. She had to ensure that she would not be dehydrated. Otherwise her body would not be able to bear it. After simply packing herself up, Yun Yanyan set out on the road ahead. There are spiders everywhere on the island of Allah's spider forest. On the trees, on the ground, and even in the air. You can see 2 or 3 spiders every 2 steps. Of all kinds. The environment here is humid and hot. The places that can be exposed to the sun are very dry and hot. And the places covered by the shade of the trees are very humid and hot. Don't even think about being comfortable during the day. At night, you have to worry about poisonous insects and spiders. If you are bitten by a poisonous spider here, half of your arm will be stiff. Yun Minmin walked for half an hour and had already stepped on 10 poisonous spiders to death. Spiders are solitary animals and have no sense of teamwork. So there is no need to worry about stepping on one to attract a bunch of them. Chapter 163. Yun Minmin tried to open the panel, but found that all functions except the taskbar were locked. She couldn't get in touch with anyone, and couldn't even use her backpack. Task: leave the Aris Spider Forest Island and find the NPC to pick her up. Since it was an island, Yun Minmin had to find the edge of the island. That is, the coast. Then make a raft to escape from here, and then go out to sea to find the so-called NPC to pick her up. At present, it seems that she doesn't know where she is on the island. In such a dense forest, the wrong direction choice may make her lose her sense of direction and wander around in the forest. Or go to a place that cannot be crossed, such as a steep and towering mountain. Without tools, she said, she couldn't climb over it. So the first choice is particularly important. Yun Minmin must decide which way to go before noon. She is still looking for water. Although she can survive a day without drinking water, that is without too much consumption. At night, she must build a shelter, which will consume a lot of her physical strength and make her sweat a lot. If she doesn't drink water at that time, her body will soon be unable to bear it. Time passed little by little, but Yun Minmin found nothing. But she found a piece of bamboo. Bamboo is very useful. It can be used to make various tools, such as containers, weapons. But she didn't have a sharp knife, and it was difficult to even cut bamboo. But fortunately, she found a stone that was quite handy. After sharpening the stone, she tied it to a stick with rattan, and it could become a simple axe. With this, Yun Minmin could chop bamboo. She chopped 2 bamboos as thick as her wrists. Yun Minmin hadn't done manual work for a long time. She was not good at it at first, but she became proficient as she did it. She made a bamboo tube for drinking water and a backpack for carrying things. If she picked up something useful on the road, she could put it in it. She didn't have pockets on her body. Although the things were made very roughly, they were usable. At noon, Yun Minmin could already feel that her body needed to replenish water. Her throat was dry and her spirit value dropped by 10 points. But there was no sound of water around, and she didn't dare to drink the stagnant water she saw. This kind of water will contain a lot of bacteria. If she drinks it without boiling it, she will soon have diarrhea. Gastrointestinal disease will make her miss this game, unless she takes the time to make a fire and boil water now. But Yun Minmin has not found a suitable shelter yet, and doesn't want to waste too much time here. The sun scorched her body, and Yun Minmin picked some palm leaves to make a straw hat, and put it on her head to block the sun, which made her feel a little better. The environment on Spider Island is complicated, although it can't be said to be bad. The road conditions are not good at all. There are potholes everywhere, and you will often trip over protruding tree roots. Yun Minmin's speed of progress inevitably slowed down, because she had to be careful of spiders that might appear at any time in her feet. After walking for 2 hours, she finally saw the end of the jungle. Yun Minmin breathed a sigh of relief, because only after she walked out of the jungle could she find a high place to observe the surrounding terrain. Otherwise she would not know where she was on the island. Half an hour later, Yun Minmin climbed a small hill, and when she saw where she was clearly, her heart sank. Although the small hill was not very high, it was enough for her to know that she was in the belly of the island, with continuous mountains in front and a huge jungle behind her. She could not see the whole island clearly, and she could not see the sea at all. If she wanted to know which way to go to get out, she would probably have to climb a higher mountain. But it seemed that there was no way to go up these mountains. The peaks were towering into the clouds, and they were all lush and green trees. It felt like you couldn't get out once you entered. Yun Minyan suddenly didn't know whether to go forward or backward. Going back meant returning to the jungle, and going forward meant climbing over the mountains. Neither seemed a good choice. But you had to choose one. Yun Minyan was in a dilemma. She was hot and thirsty at this time, and her spirit value had dropped by more than 20 points. If she didn't replenish her water, her physical strength might also decrease. It was still early, and Yun Minyan had to find something to drink before dark. She had to make a decision quickly. 10 minutes later, Yun Minyan stood up, dusted herself off, and walked forward with a determined look in her eyes. She didn't want to go back. Her intuition told her that she could find a way out ahead. Maybe she could see the coastline after crossing this mountain. Yun Minyan walked forward under the scorching sun and finally reached the foot of the mountain. The mountain looked not far away, but it took her 2 hours to walk to the foot of the mountain. Yun Minyan was very tired. She had traveled a long distance without replenishing her energy, so her walking speed had slowed down a lot. At first, she was sprinting, but now it was like walking. Fortunately, there was a time display on the panel, and it could be seen that it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Yun Minyan should find a place to build a shelter and solve the problem of food. If it really doesn't work, she may have to eat some wild vegetables and insects. But she was used to eating delicious food, so she felt a little uncomfortable when she thought about eating these things. There was no way. This was survival in the wild. She had prepared herself mentally before coming. However, she couldn't even find wild vegetables now. Today's luck is really not good, Yun Minyan muttered softly. The sun went down, and Yun Minyan felt that it was not so hot. So she took off the straw hat on her head, looking at the palm leaves that were wilted by the sun. Yun Minyan was reluctant to throw them away, and she could still wear them. What if she couldn't even find palm leaves tomorrow? Maybe it was because of bad luck. Yun Minyan began to think about this problem that she had never thought about before. In the past, I could get whatever I wanted, but today I couldn't even find a drop of water. In Yun Minyan's opinion, her luck today was bad enough. But she didn't know that other people were in worse situation than her. Nie Yongwang chose the volcano Hell Island. He almost fell into the lava as soon as he got on the island, which scared him half to death. Nie Yongwang fell from the sky and saw the volcano below with a horrified expression. Fortunately, there was no lava where he fell. If he was 1 meter away, he might be burned by the lava. Damn. It's too fucking scary. Although I know it's a volcanic island, I can't fall into the volcano as soon as I get on. I don't want to swim in the lava. The name of the volcano Hell Island sounds like a high-level challenge. Nie Yongwang chose to challenge the high-level challenge completely after listening to the analysis of everyone in the group. Everyone said that the higher the difficulty, the smaller the island area, the less time it takes, and as long as you are lucky and find the right route, you can probably get a high score. But Nie Yongwang didn't want to risk his life here. He stood up and looked around. The crater was erupting all the time, and various gases were pouring out of many small holes. The scorching magma made him feel like he was in the depths of hell. I really shouldn't have chosen this place. Nie Yongwang regretted it a little, but he was already here. He could only bite the bullet and move forward. He was surrounded by scorching hot winds, and the surrounding surface was full of sharp volcanic ash and volcanic slag, or sulfur. There was no green plants or coastline at a glance. He was not even sure if he could sleep tonight. Help! Can we change to another island? Nie Yongwang clicked on the task panel inside. There was nothing but tasks. He wanted to send a message to the system to apply for an island change. Wei Yue was also on the same island with him. But even though they were on the same island, they could not see each other. As Yun Minyan expected, this competition was a single-player game. Even if Yun Minyan and the Liu brothers and sisters were together, they would not meet. They had to fight alone from beginning to end. Wei Yue's situation was not much better than Nie Yongwang's. He fell directly on the sharp volcanic rocks. They were rocks formed after the magma cooled. They were hard and rugged. His arm was injured immediately after he fell on them. Fortunately, the wound was not big. He pressed it in time, and there was no bleeding. Otherwise the situation would be troublesome. As the sky darkened, Yun Minyan found a natural cave. But Yun Minyan didn't plan to spend the night in it. This is Spider Island. Maybe it's full of spiders. Or something else. Yun Minyan didn't want to take risks. Her plan was to find a clean open space, or a tall tree, to build a small shelter to spend the night. However, when Yun Yan saw the cave. She was a little worried whether there would be any ferocious beasts in it. It was better to stay away from it. She didn't want wild beasts to come to visit her in the middle of the night. Just when she was about to leave, several bats flew out of the cave. Yun Yan was startled. Bat cave? Yun Yan frowned. Thinking about it was very creepy. Fortunately, she didn't go in. Yun Yan breathed a sigh of relief and continued to move forward. Suddenly she paused and dodged to the side, because she almost stepped on a snake. The color of the snake was almost the same as that of the dead leaves. The two merged into one, and Yun Yan almost didn't notice it. Fortunately, her intuition was sensitive, and her reaction was fast. When the snake stretched its head, she stopped immediately and swung the stone axe in her hand to chop the snake's neck. Although it didn't kill it in one blow, it at least made the snake farther away from her. If she had been a little slower by half a second, she would have been bitten. Yun Yan took advantage of the situation and smashed the snake in two by aiming the axe at its 7 inches. Well, dinner is settled. Roast the snake meat. Find some herbs or wild vegetables and wrap them around the snake meat. It should taste better. Coincidentally, with the food solved, water also came. Just less than 50 meters away from killing the snake, Yun Yan found a huge baobab tree. This baobab tree is more than 20 meters high. Yun Yan had to look up hard to see the top of the tree when she stood below. The trunk is very thick, but there are almost no leaves. There are a few scattered fruits hanging on the branches. Baobab trees are called giant water barrels. In this dry season, they store a lot of water. Yun Yan only needs to use a stone to cut a hole in the bark to get drinking water. Such a big baobab tree has at least several kilograms of water in its belly. Yun Yan cut open the hard outer skin of the baobab tree and quickly used a bamboo tube to collect it. She lowered her head and drank the flowing water without wasting any. This water is hard to come by, and Yun Yan cherishes it very much. Cut open the outer skin of the baobab tree, and you will find that the wood inside is very soft. She drank enough water and filled a bamboo tube again, but she was still not satisfied. She set her eyes on the fruit on the treetop. The fruit of the baobab tree has a high starch content and tastes good, sweet and sour. Not only can it fill your stomach, it also has high nutritional value. Pick a few and put them on your body. You can eat them anytime when you are hungry, and it can also replenish some water. You may not be able to touch this thing again in the future. But how to climb up? Yun Yan looked at the huge tree and suddenly thought of a way. She could find some vines to tie to herself and use friction to slowly climb up. If she could climb the mountain, she might be able to see farther. And it seems that she can live on this tree tonight. Such a high tree is not only far away from some insects and spiders, but also can avoid most poisonous snakes and beasts. Great. All the good luck of the day was spent on this baobab tree. Yun Yan hugged the baobab tree and turned around happily. If you are too lucky, you will take good things for granted every day. Like today. Good luck that comes at the end will make people more moved. Yun Yan is now full of energy. Although she searched for a long time before finding the rattan, it did not affect her good mood. She found rattan of various thicknesses. These are all good things. The thick ones can be made into ropes, and the thin ones may be used for fishing. In the wild, everything may be useful. Chapter 164 Volcano Season, 89 Days. After climbing the tree, Yun Yan found that the space on the tree was larger than she had imagined. It was enough for her to make a simple bed on it, or even lie on it to sleep. It was just not that comfortable and easy to fall off. Standing on the baobab tree, which was 20 to 30 meters high, Yun Yan's vision became wider. At a glance, it seemed that there was no end, just continuous mountains and endless trees. But Yun Yan found a river, just between the two valleys in front. From this side, it was very small, so small that it looked like a line. And because it was very dark, Yun Yan was not sure if she was seeing it wrong. We will know tomorrow. If we find a river, we may be able to follow it all the way to the sea. But maybe it is just an inland river. Anyway, there is hope. Yun Yan took a lot of effort to pick a few baobab fruits from the tree. She couldn't even hold them with her hands, so she could only let the fruits fall to the ground and pick them up later. There are also many spiders on this baobab tree, and even spider eggs. If Yun Yan sleeps on it at night, she must light a fire and put a torch on the tree. At least the tree can avoid many other insects and wild beasts that appear at night. As for the spiders, Yun Mian can only endure it. She slid down from the tree, and the first thing she had to do was to make a fire. Pick up the baobab fruit on the ground. Smash it with a stone. And you can see the fruit inside, which is light yellow and tastes like cheese, which is quite delicious. After eating a baobab fruit, Yun Mian replenished a little energy. She gathered the fallen leaves and dead grass on the ground and prepared to use them to make a fire. She also found some bamboo, put dry tinder in it, sharpened a thin wooden stick, and prepared to drill wood to make fire. Drilling wood to make fire is a laborious task, no matter who it is. The success rate of novices is very low, even for survival experts. If they want to succeed in such a humid and dark environment, they need to spend a lot of time and energy. And the most important thing is patience. She tied a thin vine to a stick to make a simple tool. The bow drill method is easier than the hand drill method. In this way, the sharpened stick can be fixed. Pull the bow with your left hand, and let the stick rub in the groove to produce burning cinders. Yun Mian struggled for more than half an hour, and finally saw smoke. She did not dare to relax, as this was the most critical moment. Put the burning cinders into the prepared tinder. Shake it gently. Fan it. Let air in. But do not blow out the burning cinders. Yun Mian was like looking at a newborn baby. When more smoke came out, Yun Mian finally breathed a sigh of relief. Success? It is not easy to make a fire. She was sweating. Having a fire meant having food and safety. She found more branches, and made sure the fire became stronger and stronger. In the woods, branches and firewood were the most abundant, and she soon had a blazing fire. She chopped the snake into 2 pieces, strung one half with bamboo, roasted it on the fire, and put the other half in a bamboo tube, added baobab leaves and fruits, and poured a little water. It was a simple way to make snake meat for 2 dishes. When the fragrance spread, Yun Mian's stomach was full of greed. Fortunately, she ate a lot in the morning. Otherwise, according to today's consumption, she would have been starving. The snake meat had no seasoning, but it was fresh and tender, and the taste was light, but the original flavor could be tasted. The roasted snake meat was firm and chewy. The snake's skin was shiny black, and the snake meat was very fat, arranged next to the dense snake bones. If it could be sprinkled with a little chili and cumin, it might be more delicious. As for the boiled snake meat, the taste was richer, because the leaves and fruits of the baobab tree were added. So the taste was a bit sweet and a little sour, and the soup was white and very fragrant. Yun Mian ate it all. The whole snake was not small, enough for her to eat alone, and she drank the soup, so she was quite satisfied tonight. She leaned against the trunk of the baobab tree to rest a little comfortably, thinking that the day was finally over, and she didn't know how others were doing. On the Shark Island at the other end, Luo was struggling. The so-called Shark Island is actually a very large reef. To say it is very large is to compare it with ordinary reefs. It can only accommodate 3 or 5 people lying on it. It can't be called an island at all. The reef is full of mussels and conchs. Next to it are several sea pits with crabs, sea urchins and conchs. Occasionally, some fish are brought in by the seawater due to the high tide. But despite this, it is more difficult to survive on this reef. What's more, there are sharks near this reef. It is a very ferocious shark that will chase and bite people when it sees them. Luo has no weapons in her hands. She has been on the reef all day today. Until just now, she found an abandoned boat in the sea. Maybe there will be something useful on it. But she tried to get it several times in the water, but was spotted by sharks. She escaped by luck several times. Now she was waiting for the night, when the shark was resting, to go into the water again. When she was hungry, she could only eat mussels on the reef. And she also caught a few big blue crabs, which could only be eaten raw. There was no fire here, let alone making a fire. When she saw this reef, Luo knew that this time it was a single-player game. She was the only one on such a narrow reef. And Luo's situation was probably similar to hers. It seemed that their prediction was completely wrong. Luo could only be thankful that Yun Mian did not choose Shark Island like them. Otherwise she would have harmed Mian. And she could not guarantee that she could leave here alive. Yun Mian made a torch and brought it to the tree, and tied it to the trunk with vines. Tied it tightly, because she didn't want the torch to hit her or fall off while she was sleeping. She cut down a few small trees, made a simple platform with the trunks, and then covered it with some leaves, intending to sleep on it. This kind of bed is not only uncomfortable to look at, but also uncomfortable to sleep on. But Yun Yan could only make do with it. She was so sleepy that making a bed was already her limit. Now she could fall asleep immediately after lying down. But just as she was about to close her eyes, she saw an owl flying over and standing on the trunk next to her. It seemed that this owl would also sleep here at night. Yun Yan saw this new neighbor and couldn't help laughing and crying. Did she steal its territory? But she would not change places. She was exhausted to make this bed. Yun Yan whispered, "I won't leave. I want to sleep with you." The owl didn't mean to leave, staring at her for a while, as if to confirm whether she was a threat. The owl's eyes are very big, and actually look quite cute. In the light of the fire, its eyes seemed to glow. Yun Yan saw it open one eye and close the other, and then stop moving. Is it asleep? Owls usually sleep lightly, and they are alert while sleeping. They can rest their brains in turn and can also keenly perceive changes in the surrounding environment. Yun Yan thought, it's good to have it around. If there is danger, the owl will probably find it before her. She has to sleep quickly so that she can roll the dice again tomorrow. As she was thinking, Yun Yan fell asleep in a daze. The next day, the scorching sun shone directly on Yun Yan's face through the sparse branches. She opened her eyes almost at the same time as she felt the first ray of sunlight. The sunlight in the early morning was so dazzling, which showed how hot the weather was. The owl had flown away last night, as if it had never been here. Yun Yan quickly took out the lucky dice. She was hoping to get a good number today. She had been thinking about it before going to bed last night. She put her hands together to cover the lucky dice, silently saying, "Please, give me a good number." When she saw the number was 6, she stood up happily and almost lost her balance. Fortunately, she held on to the tree trunk. Lucky stars. Super invincible good luck. This is the number I've been waiting for. The god of luck really loves me. Yun Yan happily slid down from the tree. Before leaving, she took everything she could carry with her. After making a fire last night, she also stored the burning ash in a special piece of wood, so that the burning ash would always burn in the wood and the fire could be preserved. For safety, she took a lot of charcoal from the fire, put it in a bamboo tube, and carried it with her. This way, next time she doesn't need to make a fire so hard. She can just use the fire to ignite it. After being blessed by super good luck, Yun Yan has been happy since she woke up. She drank enough water from the baobab tree. Yun Yan felt that she had drunk a liter of water, and her stomach was swollen. Yun Yan started to hurry on her way. Soon she picked up a thin and straight wooden stick on the road. She liked it at first sight. She picked it up and tried it. It was very easy to use, and very suitable as a weapon. Although the lethality is not strong, it is enough for self-defense. It can be used to hit snakes, spiders, insects, etc. if it is sharpened or tied with a stone. It can even be used as a harpoon. Yesterday, I saw a river in front of me from the tree. If I can reach it this morning, I can have grilled fish at noon. Sure enough, after having good luck, Yun Yan was full of energy. As she swung the stick, she felt like she was holding her own Tang Dynasty sword. Although the feel was different, she couldn't expect too much from a substitute. Yun Yan walked briskly, but her eyes were sharp. She saw many spiders being swept by her stick from afar, either killed or thrown away. Yun Yan treated this as entertainment. It was like playing an experience-boosting game. One spider adds 10 experience points. If this is the case, Yun Yan estimates that she has accumulated 200 experience points. If cleaning spiders is considered a profession, she should be able to level up. She also encountered a spider web that blocked the road. Next to it was a thorn bush, where spiders had made dense webs, and spiders were crawling all over it, which looked very scary. But Yun Yan was numb. She even smiled. Oh, this will directly add hundreds of experience points. She took out the burning embers and charcoal, found 2 dry leaves nearby, made a fire, and threw them on, directly destroying all the spider webs in this circle. The spiders were burned on it, and made a crackling sound. Yun Yan's eyes glowed, and it seemed that she could see the prompts in the air, +10, +10. When all the spiders were burned, Yun Yan actually heard the voice of the system. Light up the Spider Island achievement, and open the live broadcast channel. Yun Yan, huh? Kill more than 500 spiders in the Spider Island map, and you can open a special live broadcast channel. What is the use of live broadcast? Yun Yan was curious about this, but unfortunately the system would not give her an answer. There was only a number of online viewers in the live broadcast room on her panel. Currently there are 2 people. But soon the number of people will increase. Chapter 165. Only a few people have opened the live broadcast channel. Players can enter the live broadcast room through the email sent by the system and choose to watch the live broadcast of any contestant. At first, those who hung up were all unknown players whose names had never been heard before. Because the way to unlock the live broadcast channel is actually very strange. The unlocking conditions set by the system are unimaginable to ordinary people. For example, Spider Island is to eliminate more than 500 spiders. Hainan Island is to collect 100 mangoes. Monkey Island is to shake hands and hug with monkeys. Pearl Island is to collect 100 scallops. Most players are only thinking about escaping from the deserted island and will not do anything extra. Time is money. Everyone is racing against time. Who would go to collect 100 mangoes if they want to sprint for the ranking? But there is a player who picked mangoes for a whole day. I accidentally unlocked the live broadcast channel last night. This person is a player from District 9. Named Wei Yue. He was the first player to unlock the live broadcast channel and was notified by the system at that time. The system sent an email to notify players that they can watch the live broadcast. But when the players opened the live broadcast, they found that there was only one person broadcasting, so they could only watch him. It was still late at night, and when I opened Wei Yue's live broadcast room, I saw Wei Yue eating mangoes crazily, piling the mango cores and mango skins together, forming a strange shape. The players in the live broadcast room were all complaining. What is this guy doing? Don't you feel sick of eating so many mangoes? It looks delicious. Fuck. I watched him eat mangoes for 2 hours. I want to eat it too. Players can like and send love to the contestants. Each player has 5 love points every day, which can be given to any player on the live broadcast. Wei Yue was the only one live broadcasting last night, so most of the players' love was given to him. Players who receive more than 1,000 love points can participate in the lottery. The lottery can get supplies. Yun Yinmian's live broadcast room just appeared and attracted the attention of many players. At this time, there were 5 players who had unlocked the live broadcast. Only Yun Yinmian's name was known to everyone. So soon, the number of people online in her live broadcast room soared to 2,000. Yun Yinmian could also see the number of viewers. She had broadcast live before, so Yun Yinmian did not feel surprised or uncomfortable. She continued to move forward, killing a few annoying spiders from time to time on the road. Yun Yinmian did not see anyone sending her love, although she guessed that this live broadcast channel might be useful after it was opened. The system did not give any prompts at present, so she could only treat it as nothing. She thought she could reach the stream before noon. But Yun Yinmian encountered a tiger looking for food on the road. This tiger was orange-yellow in color with black stripes on its body. It came out from the other side of the forest. When Yun Yinmian saw it, it was knocking down a deer and biting it fiercely. It soon discovered Yun Yinmian, but it already had its prey. For Yun Yinmian, this strange creature that suddenly appeared, it just stared at her vigilantly and did not attack her. But it scared Yun Yinmian. She only had a wooden stick and a simple stone axe in her hand. She didn't even have a decent weapon. It was not a problem to kill some spiders, but it was really difficult for her to use a wooden stick to hit the tiger. After the tiger appeared, the audience in the live broadcast room became excited. Damn! There really is a tiger. Can Yun Yinmian kill this tiger? Jungle tiger. Looks really domineering. Why does Yun Yinmian look like she's planning to run away? What else can she do if she doesn't run away? Can she beat the tiger to death with a stick? TSK. I don't think Yun Yinmian has such a high combat power. I've always found the previous combat power ranking list strange. Can the system's evaluation be fake? You're overthinking it. Yun Yinmian really wanted to sneak away quietly, but the tiger actually followed her with the deer in its mouth. Yun Yinmian was confused when she found the tiger following her. Why are you following me? Isn't the deer delicious? There's no point in following me. For tigers, humans are not their food source. Unless they are too hungry or threatened, tigers will not actively attack humans. As for why it followed her, Yun Yinmian really couldn't understand the tiger's brain circuit. She was not really scared, but just felt weird. After all, her luck was super good today, and she would not die in the tiger's mouth. Yun Yinmian was puzzled and decided to find a way to get rid of it. Otherwise, it would be uneasy to have a tiger following her all the time. After all, the IQ of a tiger is not as good as that of a human. At most, It has the IQ of a 2 or 3-year-old child. Yun Mian circled around, used the stone she picked up to make a feint to the east, and attacked the west several times, and finally got rid of the tiger. But this also delayed her a little. But just when Yun Mian was about to stop and rest, the system issued a prompt. When the love points reach 1,000, you can draw a prize once. Do you want to draw a prize? A lucky wheel appeared on the panel. Yun Mian's eyes lit up. Where did the love points come from? No matter what. Of course I have to draw. She quickly clicked yes. The wheel spun quickly. After about half a minute, the speed of the pointer became slow, and then slowly settled in a smallest area. Win the super prize. No way. Yun Mian drew the best reward right away? I have heard that Yun Mian is the most European emperor in the server. And it turns out that the reputation is well deserved. Although it's a super big prize, it's not a particularly good thing. Isn't this good enough? This is the most expensive hunting knife sold in the mall. A bowie hunting knife worth more than 3,000 starfish coins. My dream knife. Wei Yue next door just got a sleeping bag. Ha ha ha. I saw Gu Fan got a can of dog food. A bowie hunting knife appeared out of thin air in Yun Mian's hand. The knife was comfortable to hold, and looked very delicate. It even had a hand guard and a front saddle. This knife is a top-level equipment for survival in the wild. It can be used for chopping trees, carving, skinning, and cutting vegetables. It is even a good knife for fighting. Yun Mian was excited. Good luck is different. She was given the best equipment. Finally, she didn't have to endure the blunt stone axe. Yun Mian took the bowie hunting knife and chopped down the small tree next to her. It was so cool. But she had just gone around to get rid of the tiger. And now she had to go back. At this time, the temperature was too high. And after several hours of fast progress, Yun Mian was already very thirsty. She had been holding back without drinking water. But now she couldn't stand it anymore. So she took out the bamboo tube and drank 2 mouthfuls. She didn't drink in big gulps, but was still relatively frugal. Before finding the river, Yun Mian would not drink up all the water she had stored. Yun Mian couldn't let go of the knife and played with it all the way. The tip and blade of the knife were very sharp, and it could even kill a spider at will. Yun Mian's movements of drawing and retracting the knife were neat. The audience in the live broadcast room enjoyed the sight. It seemed that killing spiders with a bowie hunting knife was also an art. Yun Mian couldn't count how many spiders she had killed, but the one she just killed was blood red and very big, which looked a bit scary. The spider island she had been to before was different from this island. There were not so many spider species on the previous island, and there was only one needed mother spider. Here, Yun Mian could see dozens of different types of spiders every day, as if she had come to their base camp. She could even clearly distinguish the difference between each type of spider. Most of the spiders on this island are poisonous spiders, with strong toxicity and the ability to spray venom. She thought that if she continued to kill enough spiders, she would unlock something new. So she worked extra hard. But nothing happened. Soon, Yun Mian went down the mountain through the woods and came to the other side of the mountain. When she got here, her vision suddenly opened up. Yun Mian walked quickly, but only saw a wasteland. There was nothing here, and the river she saw before was not here at all. Maybe she had to climb another mountain. Yun Mian was a little discouraged, but she was also glad that she didn't drink up all the water in the bamboo tube. It was getting late, so she should get herself some food. Eating baobab alone was not enough, so she had to supplement her meat intake or eat some protein. If she couldn't find any food, she could go hungry until night. But it was really uncomfortable to travel on an empty stomach. Yun Mian looked around to see if she could find something to eat. At this moment, she found that something seemed to be moving in front of her. She walked closer and took a closer look, and it turned out to be a fat pika. Pikas are more like rabbits in appearance, but more like mice in body. They live in groups, and if you find one, there must be many nearby. Yun Mian was going to catch a few pikas to fill her stomach. This guy looked small and had little meat, but catching a few more should be enough to eat. Without any other handy tools, Yun Mian could only use a hunting knife to sharpen the head of her wooden stick to make a simple spear. When she saw a pika, she would thrust it hard. As long as she was fast enough, she could get it done. Yun Mian shuttled through the wasteland and found a dozen small holes made by pikas. She first lit dry branches and threw them into the holes, then waited at the entrances of other holes, and thrust them hard the moment the pika came out. This method worked every time. And soon Yun Mian harvested 5 pikas, the largest of which weighed more than 1 kilogram. After removing the fur and inedible parts, 5 were enough for her to eat for a day. After catching the pika, Yun Mian prepared to find a place to avoid the sun and then make a fire to cook. After crossing this wasteland, she could see a green area in front of her, which seemed to be a few palm trees. Yun Mian was ready to go there in one go. Although the sun was still very hot and many fine beads of sweat had already appeared on her forehead, Yun Mian thought that she had found food, so she should work harder now and have a good rest later. She opened the bamboo tube, moistened her lips with water, drank only a small sip, held it in her mouth, and swallowed it slowly, making the most of the water. At this time, in the live broadcast room on the other side, Gu Fong was tasting canned dog food. There was soup in the can to replenish water, and the meat inside smelled very fresh. Judging from the pattern on the package, this canned dog food is beef flavored. Although the taste was hard to describe, Gu Fong, who had been hungry for 20 hours, still took 2 full mouthfuls. You can tell how bad it tasted by looking at his expression. However, he didn't eat much, just replenished some water, took out a branch, and picked out 2 pieces of beef from the can. Although the meat in the can was all meat paste, there was still a part of lumps. Gu Fong squeezed the lumps more tightly, then found a small branch as a fish hook and a rattan as a fishing rope, ready to try his luck in the river. He was in a B-level tropical rainforest island. Danger was everywhere in the rainforest, and crocodiles were often seen. But Gu Fong had no weapons, and it was almost impossible for him to fight crocodiles. He walked in the rainforest for a day and didn't find any edible food. He only encountered poisonous toads, which were inedible and might even poison him. In theory, there were a lot of food in the rainforest, and many plants were edible. But Gu Fong found nothing. When Gu Fong encountered the piranha plant, he unlocked the live broadcast channel. He was almost eaten by the piranha plant, and after escaping death, he saw the message of starting the live broadcast on the panel. At this time, the audience who came in saw how unlucky Gu Fong was in the rainforest, and they couldn't help but click on the heart for him. So soon, Gu Fong's heart value also reached 1,000 points, unlocking the lottery. As a result, he only got a can of dog food. I don't know why. I think Gu Fong is quite satisfied with a can of dog food. That's right. He hasn't eaten for a day, and I think he is very happy to have a can of dog food. I am a non-African, but I still like to watch Yun Mian. She just caught 5 pikas. So cool. And she will have a big meal tonight. Hee hee. I'm different. I just like to watch Gu Fong, and I think my luck is pretty good when I see him unlucky. You can use canned dog food for so many things. You are worthy of being the survival expert in our area. The situations on the 12 islands are different. A day and a half has passed, and no player has successfully escaped from the deserted island. Even players on sea-level islands have encountered various problems. No player on sea-level islands has unlocked the live broadcast channel. The unlucky Gu Fong and Wei Yue who eats mangoes on B-level islands have unlocked the live broadcast. More and more people have unlocked the live broadcast on A-level islands. The first one was Yun Mian, followed by Luo Zhe, Wei Yue and Zhao Yichen who was on the polar island. Luo and Luo Zhe unlocked the live broadcast because they repeatedly went into the water 50 times. Wei Yue unlocked the live broadcast because of taking a hot spring bath. Zhao Yichen encountered an avalanche. Wei Yue was taking a hot spring bath when he was suddenly notified that the live broadcast had been unlocked. He was naked from the waist up, and before he could react, he saw the number of people in the live broadcast room increase. Chapter 166. The hot spring was steaming, and Wei Yue's body was looming in the mist. He didn't look flustered, but just frowned. His lips moved but didn't seem to make any sound. The people in the live broadcast room couldn't hear what he said, but judging from his lip shape, it wasn't friendly. His clothes were thrown on a stone not far away, but fortunately, he could walk over and reach out to get them. It's just that if you put on a top in the hot spring, your clothes will inevitably get wet. But this is better than being seen naked. Wei Yue quickly put on his clothes, put them on as quickly as possible, and then came out of the hot spring. But as early as when he was not wearing clothes, the person who just came in had already taken a screenshot and sent it to the chat channel. Nice eye. Screenshots taken. If you haven't seen it, check the chat channel. Wei Yue has a nice figure. Is that Wei Yue from Area 1? Isn't he a top boss? How come he looks so handsome? Ha ha ha. He's the boss of our Area 1. Everyone else is escaping from the deserted island. But our boss is soaking in the hot springs. Why do I feel like there's no player who doesn't look good when they open a live streaming room? Yeah. I just came from Luoze's live streaming room. Luoze is so handsome. If I hadn't heard that Wei Yue was naked, I wouldn't have wanted to leave. Wei Yue felt helpless about the sudden appearance of the live streaming channel and the number of 5,000 people watching online. He himself did not have the authority to turn off the live broadcast. He did not know why he unlocked the live broadcast after soaking in the hot spring for half an hour. Although he could not see the comments in the live broadcast room, Wei Yue could probably guess the reason for the surge in the number of people. He put on his clothes and prepared to continue looking for a way to leave here. He did not sleep all night last night and was on the road all the time. He happened to see a hot spring and thought that soaking for half an hour would quickly restore his physical strength and take a rest to clear his brain. There was almost no vegetation on the volcanic island. He did not drink a drop of water or eat anything. In addition, he was on the road all night, so his physical condition was not very good. After soaking in the hot spring, he felt much more comfortable. But he was still very hungry. The hot temperature made him extremely dehydrated. He couldn't drink the hot spring water unless he was desperate. At this time, he received a prompt from the system. When the love points reach 1,000, you can draw a lottery once. Do you want to draw a lottery? Wei Yue paused. Click yes immediately. A turntable appeared on the panel. His luck value was only above average. Because the speed was too fast, he couldn't see clearly what rewards were on the turntable before it stopped. But he didn't wait long before he knew what he had drawn. Third prize, a bowl of chicken soup. Chicken soup is a soupy thing that nourishes the body, which is very suitable. Although Wei Yue wanted something more. Since he won it in the lottery, he couldn't be picky. It was good enough to have it. There was even a spoon in the bowl of chicken soup. Although the boiling hot chicken soup could quench thirst, it was so hot that drinking a bowl of hot chicken soup would probably make you sweat. Wei Yue had already sweated a lot when he was soaking in the hot spring just now. His body was in urgent need of water. He didn't care to cool the chicken soup and drank a big mouthful directly. The food produced by the system was indeed delicious, and his throat was moisturized. Not as dry and stinging as before. There were 2 pieces of chicken in the chicken soup, which were stewed soft and rotten. And he almost didn't need to chew it when he put it in his mouth. And he quickly swept it away. But Wei Yue remembered the food Yun Yan made, which was more delicious than this. He looked up and looked into the distance, as if he was lost in thought for a moment. Yun Yan came to the palm trees, and was surprised to find that there was a stream in front of these palm trees. The stream was small, and the water flow was not big. But seeing the stream flowing forward, maybe we can find the river by following this stream. The flowing stream looked very clean, and there were many fish and shrimp swimming in it, which meant that the stream water was drinkable. Yun Yan had finished drinking the water, so she quickly squatted down to fill the bamboo tube with stream water, then poured it on her face and washed her face. Although the taste of the stream water was not very good, it was very satisfying for her who was thirsty. She even wanted to jump into the stream to take a bath, but she still held back. Such a shallow stream, only up to her calf, was too cramped to take a bath in it. Although Yun Yan was a little disgusted with herself being sweaty and dirty, she had endured it for so long anyway, so she was not in a hurry. She found a clean place, took out the fire she had saved before, ignited the wood chips, made a fire, and then used a hunting knife to clean the fur of a pika, and washed the internal organs and blood by the stream. After cleaning, Yun Yan cut the meat of the pika into small pieces, strung the meat into a large stick with a wooden stick, and roasted it on the volcano. She found a few wild onions by the stream, which were just right for seasoning. The fresh smell of wild onions can make the meat taste fresher. Wild alfalfa was also found in the grass. This wild vegetable tastes fresh and tender. It is very good to mix with cold dishes. It tastes refreshing and cool. After eating and drinking, Yun Yan continued on her way. Her plan was to follow the stream all the way forward and try to find the river before dark. Then find a place to stay by the river for one night, and get up early tomorrow morning and move forward in the direction of the river. Considering her good luck today, Yun Yan believes that she will most likely find it tonight. It would be great if she could get another 1,000 hearts. Launch another lottery. Maybe she can draw something good. During the first lottery, Yun Yan looked at the other prizes on the wheel. The super prize she won was a random rare item. including those high-priced items in the mall. The other prizes were: first prize, any vehicle, electric car, off-road motorcycle, small raft. Second prize, any tool, axe, shovel, machete. Third prize, any food, barbecue, stir-fry, spicy hot pot, soup. Dessert, commemorative prize, random daily necessities, toothpaste, toothbrush, towel. If she could draw again, Yun Mian wanted to draw a vehicle. Although this broken place might not be useful, she could stay on her island later. If there is an electric bike or motorcycle on the island, you can ride it everywhere. Yu Xiao had a miserable time on Rift Valley Island for the past 2 days. He was so thirsty that he finally found a moss. The wet moss made his eyes go straight. He grabbed a handful, lifted it up, opened his mouth wide, and squeezed the moss against his mouth. And the juice inside flowed into his mouth. Although the taste is hard to describe, at least Yunqi's throat was saved. It's too hard to drink. He drank it with a painful expression. Congratulations to the player for tasting the taste of moss juice and unlocking the live broadcast channel. Yu Xiao looked embarrassed. This is also possible? There is no water source on Rift Valley Island. It is full of wasteland and barren mountains. He finally found a patch of green. But there was not even a puddle. The water in the moss was only enough to moisten his throat. Yu Xiao needed more water. So he had to grab a handful of moss and drink the water in the moss. The Rift Island Yu Xiao chose was B-level. But he felt that the difficulty was not low at all. And he didn't know what nightmare difficulty the A-level island was. My sister chose A-level. And I don't know what happened to her. My mother chose C-level. And I hope she can get out of the deserted island as soon as possible. After drinking the water, although he was still hungry, he was in a better state now. It was getting late, and Yun Xiao had to hurry to cross the rift in front of him. On the Rift Valley Island, there are countless cliffs and a variety of climates. Half of the rift valleys will form waterfalls and volcanoes. But along the way, Yun Xiao only saw deserts, woodlands and volcanoes. After searching on the island for a day, let alone waterfalls, he didn't even see a stream. It is estimated that this is the dry season of the Rift Valley, with hot temperatures and pitifully little precipitation. He saw dead water before, but didn't dare to drink it. Later, he couldn't find dead water, and the sun was scorching. He was really forced to think about the water in the moss. He didn't have the heart to appreciate the magnificent scene in front of him. A day's trek made him physically and mentally exhausted, especially since he only ate a few insects and was already hungry at this time. This damn place is hot during the day and terribly cold at night. The wind whistles like a demonic wind. Yu Xiao must find a suitable shelter. Otherwise, he will soon be unable to bear the exposure at night. He has no interest in the live broadcast that he accidentally opened. Nor does he pay attention to how many people are in it. At the beginning, there were only 2 or 3 people. And then it stabilized to more than 100 people. This Rift Valley Island doesn't look that difficult. The scenery is pretty good. This person is quite smart, knowing to use a tree trunk to support himself down the mountain. You can't survive without a little brain in this game. Fortunately, I didn't participate in this desert island survival. B-level islands are not easy either. Why haven't any players from C-level islands opened the live broadcast channel yet? I really want to see it. Forget it. Forget it. It's boring here. Let's go see Yun Mian. She just found the river. I saw she was making a raft. Yun Mian found the river before dark. The river is quite big. Yun Mian plans to stay next to it tonight, then make a small raft, and ride the raft along the river tomorrow. Before making a raft, you still have to make a fire. This matter has become very simple now. After keeping the fire, you can make a fire in just a few minutes. She chopped down more than a dozen trees in one breath. What's more, although this Bowie hunting knife is small, it is very convenient to use it to chop trees. With the help of the stone axe, she first cut the blade of the hunting knife into the tree trunk, and then hammered the back of the hunting knife hard to chop down the tree trunk bit by bit. Yun Mian built a triangular tent for herself, and found branches and palm leaves for shelter, and a luxurious shed was built. The remaining wood was some light wood, which was specially used to make rafts. Yun Mian tied the light wood with rattan and made a raft that was 1.5 meters long and 1 meter wide. This was not enough. Yun Mian chose a relatively flat wood, processed and polished it, and turned it into a paddle, so that she could row a boat. Looking at the raft that had been initially formed, Yun Yinyan put away the hunting knife with satisfaction. It was time to solve the problem of dinner tonight. There were still a few pikas, but Yun Yinyan wanted to eat fish. Sashimi. Or grilled fish. And tomorrow morning, I might be on the river. I'll prepare some more food tonight for tomorrow. The water in this river is very clear, and you can see the fish and shrimp in it with your naked eyes. The fish and shrimp here are very flexible, and not so easy to catch. Yun Yinyan tried to catch them with a wooden stick several times, but failed. It seems that I have to change my strategy and try fishing. Fishing is also her specialty. Yun Yinyan uses the viscera of pika as bait, chooses sharp branches to sharpen as fish hooks, and rattan as fishing line. The fish here seem to like to eat the viscera of pika very much, and they are scrambling to take the bait. Trout, catfish, one after another. Yun Yinyan's hands did not stop, and she kept replenishing the bait. She finally stopped after catching 7 fish. She was hooked. 1 or 2 would have been enough. But the feeling of having fish bites all the time was so good that she didn't want to stop. These 7 fish were too much to eat. Not to mention there were a few pikas. Yun Yinyan released 5 more, leaving only 2 fish. Others eat tree bark and insects. But Yun Yinyan eats meat and fish, and she can even release them. This is not survival on a deserted island. It's vacation. It's really Yun Yinyan who is comfortable. No one else is living as well as she is. Ye Yanwang is living well. He is grilling meat on the volcanic rocks. I just came from Ye Yanwang's place. He was so lucky. A rabbit was knocked unconscious on a tree, and he picked it up. Chapter 167 Volcano Season, 90 Days. Yun Yinyan was eating grilled fish when the system prompted her that she had accumulated another 1,000 luck points and could use the lottery again. Taking advantage of today's good luck, why not quickly draw another wave? Yun Yinyan put down the grilled fish. Eating is not as important as the lottery. This time she didn't expect to draw a super prize again, thinking that a first prize would be better. As a result, the turntable turned and finally stopped on the super prize, because she knew that everyone was watching. Yun Yinyan was a little embarrassed. If others saw this, they would definitely be envious. There were more than 2,000 people in the live broadcast room. Yun Yinyan has always been a low-key person. Now that so many people saw her, her good luck was overflowing. When the super prize, Wilderness Survival Portable Bag, a black tool kit appeared in Yun Yinyan's hand. This is a multifunctional tool kit, mainly some first aid supplies, and a few simple and practical tools, including flint, raincoat, band-aid, hemostatic bandage, cotton swab, emergency blanket, alcohol pad, scissors, flashlight. In the wilderness, these small things are likely to come in handy. At present, Yun Yinyan can only use the emergency blanket, scissors and flashlight. The others are useless for the time being because she is not injured. She put the things in the toolkit back to where they were before. Today's harvest was not small. There was enough food. Water source was found. And 2 super prizes were won. Compared with other survivors, Yun Yinyan's luck was really amazing. After eating the grilled fish, she prepared to rest early and try to set off early tomorrow morning. Yun Yinyan pushed the small raft into the water and stood on it to try it out. It was quite stable, and there was no problem. In order not to get her clothes wet, Yun Yinyan added 2 more layers of wood on the raft and also patted several palm leaves so that she would not touch the water in the river when she sat on it. Otherwise, her butt would be wet, which would definitely be very uncomfortable. And she had no clothes to change. The river water would become very turbulent when passing through some high-lying areas. Yun Yinyan rode the boat like drifting, which was thrilling and exciting. The coast offers beautiful scenery and is far from the spiders in the forest. The dice roll in the morning yielded an average number. Although it was just an ordinary day, it seemed that everything was going in a good direction. As long as everything went smoothly, she would be able to reach the coast. The morning passed quickly. At noon, the sun was hanging overhead. The river was wide, and there was nothing to block the view. Yun Yinyan was so hot that she had to lift up the palm leaves underneath. The palm leaves provided a good sunshade. Yun Yinyan held the palm leaves in one hand and rowed with the other. The small raft floated on the river. Without the direct sunlight, it was quite leisurely. In the afternoon, Yun Yinyan was a little hungry, so she took out the roasted pika meat from last night and nibbled it slowly. Yun Yinyan deliberately roasted the meat very dry, and it tasted a bit like dried beef. It was very chewy and quite delicious. When she was tired of paddling, She squinted her eyes and lay on the raft, letting the raft float along the river. She spent the whole day on the river like this, until night fell. The raft stopped by itself and was blocked by a huge reef. As expected, Yun Minyan was right. This was an outflow river that would eventually flow into the ocean. It was high tide at this time, and Yun Minyan could hear the sound of waves. Her small raft could not withstand such a big wave, and the waves rushed over, soaking her and the entire raft. Yun Minyan was soaked, so she had to paddle hard to try to reach the shore. But there was no suitable flat land nearby, only reefs, and her raft could not get through. In the distance, she could see a few coconut trees, which seemed to be a very small island. Since there were coconut trees, there must be a beach there. But the island was far away, and Yun Minyan had to abandon the raft and jump into the sea to swim over. She made a decision immediately. She had to go. If she delayed here, it would be dark. She had to get to the island before it was completely dark. All the fire on her body was wet and could not be used. Fortunately, she got a toolkit today, which contained flint, so she could start a fire without drilling wood to make fire again. The main task was to build a temporary shelter, but it must be completed before dark, so there can be no delay. Yun Minyan tied the portable survival kit around her waist with a vine, took all the supplies she could carry, and then found a place that looked like there were no reefs before jumping down. The feeling in the sea made Yun Minyan feel very familiar. Thanks to the good rest on the raft this afternoon and eating, she had plenty of energy. Otherwise she would not be able to swim so far. Due to the long distance, she had to swim for a while and rest for a while. She was worried that the things in the kit would be soaked if she soaked in the seawater for too long. So she controlled the time she stopped to breathe and rest, and stuck to her highest tolerance range. She rested for a few minutes and then swam forward a few hundred meters. After about half an hour, Yun Minyan finally reached the shore. She breathed a sigh of relief when she walked on the beach. It must be said that swimming for such a long time is really tiring, because she was not swimming slowly, like a swimming marathon, and after rowing for half a day, her limbs were sore at this time. But she had no time to rest. She first wrung out the water on her clothes, took out the things in the tool bag, poured out the water inside, and then Yun Minyan hurried to find something to make a fire. With a hunting knife, her work efficiency has improved a lot. She can easily cut down branches and drill holes in coconuts. She climbed up the coconut tree and pulled down a few coconuts and young coconuts. Coconut treasure is different from coconut green. Coconut treasure is a kind of white ball growing in the heart of coconut, with a lot of coconut hair on the surface, which is the best ignition material. It is dry and flammable, and it can be ignited as long as a little spark is made. Coconut green is a coconut with a relatively short growth period. The skin is green. There is a lot of coconut water inside, and the coconut meat is also very tender. Yun Minyan picked up a lot of them, gathered them together, and then lit them with a flint, and then put some branches picked up on the beach, and the fire was ready. She smashed a coconut, held it up, and drank the coconut water inside in one breath. Coconut water is sweet and fragrant, and can replenish the energy needed by the body. Yun Minyan showed off too directly. The coconut meat inside was not wasted, and it would be used to stew fish later. As for the coconut treasure, Yun Minyan also cracked one open and took out the meat inside to eat. It was soft, sweet and delicious. All the energy consumed by swimming just now was replenished by eating coconuts. Yun Minyan quickly entered the working state. She chopped trees and built a shelter as if she was running at twice the speed. With the light of the fire, she built a decent shelter with a roof. Tonight, she only built a prototype. She had to continue working tomorrow to improve the rest of the shelter. Yun Minyan had a hunch that she would probably have to stay here for a while. The two decisive conditions for the mission of escaping from the deserted island were 1. Leaving the deserted island, and 2. Finding the NPC to guide her. She opened the task panel and found that her first task had been ticked, which meant that she had completed half of it. She had left the Era Spider Forest Island, but she had not seen the NPC who was guiding her. Not even a shadow of a person. She thought of a key reason. Maybe she needed to release a distress signal for the nearby NPCs to see. For each player, she was a single-player game. But for the NPC, all the players on the island could be seen. But he would not appear on his own initiative unless you attracted him. Just like those people who were stranded on a deserted island. They would use a drifting bottle to ask for help, or draw a conspicuous distress signal somewhere. such as a super large SOS pattern, or use a flashlight to send Morse code for help, or burn to produce black smoke. Yun Mian had to do the same. Tonight, she would try to type Morse code with a flashlight, but she didn't know where to point it. No one knew which direction the NPC would be. In the darkness, only the island on her side had lights, so it should be more eye-catching. At night, after the tide receded, there were a lot of seafood on the beach. Crabs, conchs, and so on were everywhere. Yun Mian also saw an octopus. The marine resources here were so good that she could make a seafood feast with just a little bit of it. Although this island was pitifully small, and you could see the end at a glance. It was only about 200 or 300 square meters in size. But it was still quite comfortable to stay here for a few days. It would not work for a long time, because there is no fresh water here. We can only drink coconut water. Drinking a small amount of coconut water is very effective, but drinking too much will cause diarrhea. And if there is a high tide, the island will probably be submerged directly. It is the volcanic season recently. The weather is hot, and the beach dries quickly. Otherwise, the whole island is wet every day, and it is impossible to live. Yun Mian made a grill. Put the coconut shell on it, and then cut the fish into small pieces. Put it in the coconut shell, and cook it with coconut water and coconut meat. In this way, the fish will be full of the fragrance of coconut meat, and it will taste very sweet after cooking. For others, surviving on a deserted island is surviving. If there is nothing to eat, eat whatever you have. For Yun Mian, eating all the time is mainly because she has nothing to do, and there is too much food. So she cooks something when she has nothing to do. She also roasted 2 crabs, which were sizzling in the fire. Both crabs are as big as her face, so they are probably very fat. Yun Mian used a flashlight to signal in the air while cooking. She didn't know if her signal was correct. She had seen some programs teaching Morse code distress signals, but it had been a long time, so maybe she remembered it wrong. Anyway, it's better to try it out, as long as you can see it. At this time, the NPC should not be asleep yet. Yun Mian thought so. What is Yun Mian doing? Why is she pointing the flashlight at Amaterasu? It seems like she is sending a signal? Is it Morse code? Could it be a distress signal? No. Yes. The distress signal SOS. It is the International Morse Code Distress Signal, which is sent in the form of 3 short, 3 long, and 3 short. If nothing else, being able to think of this method puts her far ahead of other survivors. Yun Mian has already escaped from the deserted island, and all she needs to do is find the NPC to guide her. She has a chance to be the first. Wei Yue next door has found a way, and I think he will be able to leave the island tomorrow. Luo Zhe has killed the shark. He is also the top seed. I am very optimistic about Luo Zhe. Yun Mian plans to make a bigger raft tomorrow, the kind that can carry her on the sea. If the NPC is not nearby, she can't just sit and wait for the NPC to find her. She has to find it herself. In short, it's right to make the raft first. Chapter 168 Volcano Season, 91 Days. Nie Yangwang sat on a big rock and ate the remaining roasted rabbit meat. While he was eating, his mouth was not idle, and he kept talking. It would be better if there was some chili powder. Hey, did I burn it? Why does it taste burnt? I don't know where the next meal will be after this one. It would be better if there was another sheep. Hey, the main problem is that there is no water to drink. I shouldn't have chosen a volcanic island earlier. I might as well go to a swamp island, where there is water everywhere. Since Nie Yangwang found the hot spring, he also opened the live broadcast channel. His live broadcast room is very lively, and the number of online viewers has remained stable at 1,800. Players jokingly call him a fun seeker of survival. He talks a lot. One person is worth 10 people. No one talks to him. He is almost crazy. He can only talk to himself. Sometimes he even asks and answers himself. And Nie Yangwang is not in a hurry to escape now, because he doesn't know where to go. Just wandering around aimlessly, resting when he is tired. The main reason is that he is too thirsty. Sometimes he will swallow his saliva when staring at the hot spring water. How can we live without water? Will I die of poisoning if I drink the hot spring water? Ah! I will really die of thirst if I don't drink water for 2 days. Nie Yangwang hit the stone next to him viciously, and grimaced in pain. The audience, who come to his live broadcast room, are all for fun to watch him talk nonsense. Those who go to Yun Mian's live broadcast room all want to watch the European Emperor survive, and live a happy life. The players who watch Luo Luo and Luo Zhe mainly want to see the thrill of their fight with sharks. Just like watching a disaster movie. With their hearts hanging and their fears. There is a lack of entertainment in the end of the world. Watching their live broadcast is like watching a variety show or a movie. Some people can even stay awake and watch the live broadcast room at night. Or watch the player's survival live broadcast as a hypnotic video. Accompanied by the sound of waves and wind. Yun Mianmian did not sleep deeply at night. She opened her eyes dazedly, and saw that there seemed to be lights on the sea. At first, she thought she was seeing things. So she rubbed her eyes, and took a closer look. It turned out to be a ship. In the dark, she could vaguely see that it was a large ship, which looked like a cruise ship. Yun Mianmian stood up immediately, and all her sleepiness disappeared. Logically, other players' ships would not appear here. There was only one possibility, that it was a ship to pick up NPCs. If that was the case, what Yun Mianmian had to do now was to attract the attention of the people on that ship. The fire in the bonfire became very small, and Yun Mianmian quickly added firewood to make the flames burn more fiercely, and then pointed the flashlight at that side and signaled. But it seemed to have no effect at all. There was no sign of the ship coming over at all. It was the middle of the night. Could it be asleep? The distance was so far that Yun Mianmian could not think of any other way, so she could only continue to try to signal with the flashlight. But half an hour passed, and there was no movement. Looking at the time, it would take another 2 hours before dawn. She didn't want to waste the power of the flashlight. Turning it on and off consumed the most power. If it ran out of power, it would be useless when it was really needed. Since she couldn't sleep, Yun Mianmian decided to get up and do something. By making the fire bigger, she could at least illuminate the side, so that she could see the coconut trees around. Climbing up the tree in the dark was not an easy task. The coconut tree was more than 10 meters high. It was okay during the day, but it was easy to slip when it was dark. For safety reasons, she used the bandages and emergency blanket in the toolkit to climb up little by little. If she was to drift on the sea, these young coconuts would be her only water source. She had to pick more. She had to pick 10 for sure. In addition to the young coconuts and coconut treasures, Yun Mianmian also cut fresh leaves from the coconut trees. The leaves of coconut trees are mostly feather-like lobes. And Yun Mianmian cut off almost all the leaves from several coconut trees, and threw them on the ground. She climbed up and down. And after tossing and turning, Yun Mianmian was exhausted. But she just broke a young coconut, drank the coconut juice, ate some coconut meat, and continued to work. She put the fresh leaves on the fire. These leaves can produce a lot of thick smoke. And Yun Mianmian hoped that the ship in the distance could see the smoke and find her. It takes time to burn out thick smoke. It happened that the sky was already bright at this time, and Yun Mianmian was ready to use the lucky dice first. When the player went to the toilet, the live broadcast would automatically go black for a few minutes. Yun Mianmian took this opportunity to use the dice. What she hoped most was good luck. But the result was that good things came in pairs. This was the most useless good luck for her at this time. Normally, she would be very happy if this came. But today she really didn't need it. Since the double happiness came, she had to use it. She got up and continued to chop trees. The small uninhabited desert island was only this big, and Yun Mianmian didn't need to spend a lot of time exploring resources. The island was covered with vegetation except for a narrow beach. Yun Mianmian had cut down some small trees last night to build shelters. There were some bamboos and 2 birch trees left. They were barely enough to make a raft. But Yun Mianmian had double luck today. So the raft had plenty of materials, and could be made bigger and stronger. Bamboo was used to make the raft, and the bark of the birch was rolled into ropes to fix the bamboo. Only a hunting knife could not split the thick tree trunk into pieces. So bamboo was the most suitable for making a raft. Add some coconut tree leaves as a cover, and Yun Mianmian would have something to block the sun when sailing on the sea. The burning leaves produced thick smoke, but the cruise ship was gone. Yun Mianmian was helpless and continued to increase the fire, putting all the unused leaves on the fire. She also roasted the seafood she picked up last night in the fire. The fresh leaves could control the temperature, and the crabs would not burn easily. She applied the coconut oil from the coconut treasure on the exposed skin, which could protect the skin from the sun and moisturize the skin. Otherwise, the skin would be easily allergic under the sun, and it might also crack and peel. Soaking in a little seawater would be painful. It took 3 hours to make the bamboo raft. Yun Mianmian used all the extra materials, So this bamboo raft was equivalent to an enlarged, thickened and whitened version. And Yun Minmin was satisfied with it. After finishing the work, she was already hungry. She picked up the crab and octopus that had just been smoked and roasted. The shell of the crab turned red and a little bit brown. But the inside was not overcooked, but just right. Hot. With the crab meat exposed. She knew it must be delicious before she ate it. The meat of the octopus was very tender, and it was chewy after being roasted and dried. A whole octopus with long tentacles was delicious. Yun Minmin ate a few bites and thought of Octopus' sister. She sighed, not knowing what was happening on the island now. After eating, Yun Minmin packed the remaining food, wrapped it with leaves, and put it in the tool bag to keep as rations for eating at sea. To be on the safe side, she reserved 2 days of food. It should be enough if she saves it every day. There is no use making too much. In such a hot day, 2 days is the limit. It will definitely go bad after 2 days. If she gets sick, the situation will be very bad, in case she drifts on the sea for too long. Yun Minmin can go fishing or pick up crabs and conchs to eat raw. After making full preparations, Yun Minmin is ready to go out to sea again. She wrote a line of words on the ground with a branch. Guide, I'm going out to sea to find you. What if the NPC sees the smoke here after she leaves? She has to leave a message for him. Yun Minmin also wrote an extra line of English. It seems that the NPCs she met are all foreigners. Just in case, it is better to write in English. It was nude at this time, and Yun Minmin still put on an extra raincoat. It is used to block direct sunlight and is waterproof, which is perfect. In short, you have to wrap yourself tightly to feel safe. When floating on the sea, Yun Minmin suddenly felt like returning to the first day of the Gregorian calendar on the sea. At that time, the Shangyun was just a small raft. Her supplies were also pitiful, and she had to exchange things with others every day to upgrade. She was so stingy that she couldn't even spend half a steamed bun. Unlike now, she has become the owner of the island, but she still has to drift on the sea. Yun Minmin sighed. It was all for the starfish coins. Where exactly is the NPC who guides her? She will be free if she finds it. If she finds it before dark, she can go back to the island and use the double buff to do more things. Otherwise it will be wasted. Now she doesn't even have a backpack. The double buff is nothing to her, and she can't take the things she gets away. She recalled the direction she saw the cruise ship last night, and paddled the bamboo raft hard in that direction. Maybe the cruise ship has already sailed far away, and it is impossible to catch up with it at her current speed. She can only hope that the cruise ship is circling nearby and will come back after a circle. After Luo Luo killed the shark's body sank. Originally, Luo Luo wanted to eat some meat. Luo Luo was too hungry. She had only eaten mussels for 2 days. She was even hungrier when she saw the meat. But sharks contain a lot of mercury, which is normally inedible. Eating too much will cause harm to the body. Considering that she might not be able to leave here if she was poisoned, Luo Luo still held back. She had to find a way to leave. After the shark died, there would be no other danger nearby. She saw that half of the task of escaping from the deserted island in the task bar was completed. There was still the search for the NPC to pick her up. Luo Luo racked her brains, but didn't know how to leave here. There was nothing that could be used on the small reef. Could it be that she had to piece together all the mussel shells to make a boat? But there was no glue tool. Luo Luo thought of the sunken ship at the bottom of the sea. She found the weapon in the sunken ship. Maybe the sunken ship was also her hope to leave. Although the ship sank, it should not be a problem to convert it into a small raft. It seems that she has to go to the sea a few more times. She can't take many things at a time, so she can only take them in batches. She was injured when fighting with the shark, and her body was very weak. She might faint if she went into the water a few more times. But there was no way. Luo Luo had to go. Otherwise, there would be no way out if she stayed on the reef. She knew that it was impossible to hope to guide the NPC to find her. This time, Luo Luo found a bottle of sealed mineral water on the sunken ship. Although she didn't know how long it had been on the seabed, Luo Luo still felt like she had found a treasure. She took it up and drank most of it in big gulps. Although she wanted to continue drinking, she held back. She hadn't had water for 2 days, and freshwater resources were rare. She had to save some. Now she just needed to quench her thirst. Seeing Luo Luo's hard life, more viewers clicked on her love. Congratulations to the player for winning 1,000 love points. Do you want to participate in the lottery? Luo's expression changed. She didn't expect such a good thing. She immediately clicked on the lottery, and saw the turntable spinning rapidly. Soon she saw that she had won the third prize. A random delicacy. Get a bowl of seafood luxury spicy hot pot. Please choose the spiciness. Luo, slightly spicy. Chapter 169. When the clouds were floating on the sea. Wei Yue also left the Hell Volcano Island. He had no tools. But some trees on the volcano island were eroded by magma and turned into dead wood. Many woods were only burned off, and most of them were still good. Wei Yue picked up these dead woods and tied them with vines to make a raft. Although it looked uneven, it was barely usable. He first carried the wood to the shore one by one, and then made a raft. After it was made, he pushed it directly into the sea and jumped on it himself. His first step of escaping from the deserted island was also completed. The audience was guessing who would be the first to actually complete the task. Regardless of the score, the first one to complete the task must have an advantage in getting a high score. Luo had already picked up enough materials from the bottom of the sea and was making a wooden boat. Luo subdued the shark, and he injured the shark with a bone spur he picked up from the bottom of the sea. Then, with his high mental strength, he contracted the shark without using the pet contract. He is currently riding the shark and looking for NPCs on the sea. Luo's operation was too amazing. After all, no one could cause his love value to rise rapidly. He has accumulated 2 lottery opportunities. Luo won a second prize and a third prize. They were a machete and a durian 1000 layer. Although Luo didn't like durian, he was so hungry that he ate the whole durian 1000 layer in 2 or 3 bites. The machete was not very useful. He basically didn't use it on the shark. Players in the chat channel were betting on who would be the first to find the NPC. It must be Yun. She was the first to get out of the deserted island. I think Luo is more likely. Riding a shark and swimming so fast. It should be Wei Yue. He is the strongest. It's not about strength. Whether you can find the NPC depends on luck. Yun's luck is obvious to all. Maybe there is a dark horse. People who don't broadcast live still account for the majority. Just when everyone was arguing, the system suddenly released a message. Successful escapers have appeared in the experiment of escaping from the deserted island. Everyone hurried to watch the live broadcast of these seated players. But it was not any of them. Soon the system announced that the first player who successfully escaped from the deserted island was the one who chose the sea level island. It is understandable that there are successful escapees from the sea level island. The difficulty itself is the lowest. And even if you escape successfully, the score you can get will not be too high. Time only occupies one of the comprehensive scores. The participating players can also receive these messages. There is even a head count and a list of escapees on their panel. The system only calculates the scores for the first 100 players who escaped from the deserted island. At present, the first one has come out, which means that there will be more escapees next. If you want to get a ranking, you have to hurry up. The first survivor on the list of survivors is Lin Yin, a player from District 10. He was unknown before, but he became famous in this competition. Many people are asking who Lin Yin is. He chose a sea-level island and became the first. It is unknown whether he is amazing or lucky. Although the score of a sea-level island will not be very high, at least he uses the least time. As long as the people behind him use longer time, he also has a chance to get a good name. Maybe he will have a chance in the top 10. Yun is very anxious. She went for the first place, and she became more anxious when she saw that someone had successfully escaped. She staggered on the sea for a long time and finally saw the cruise ship. But the cruise ship was far away from her. If she wanted the cruise ship to find her, she had to think of a way. Soon, Yun had an idea and raised her Bowie knife facing the sun. The knife had a smooth blade and the material was very reflective, similar to the surface of a mirror. As long as there were people on the deck, they could see the light reflected by her. Her efforts were soon rewarded. When she saw the cruise ship getting closer and closer to her, she knew she was saved. There was no other person who had successfully escaped. Hurry up. Hurry up. Yun was also rowing hard, and she could already see the people on the deck waving at her. Yun didn't care about that, and simply jumped into the sea and swam towards the cruise ship. She swam as fast as she could, which was faster than rowing. Now she had to seize every second. Finally, she saw the cruise ship lower a lifeboat, and she immediately climbed onto it. When she heard the system prompt that she had successfully escaped. She breathed a sigh of relief. The list of survivors of the experiment of escaping from the deserted island has been updated. Almost at the same time, the voice rang again. The list of survivors of the experiment of escaping from the deserted island has been updated. Yun Mian frowned and quickly clicked on the list of survivors to check. 1. Lin Yin. 2. Yun Mian. 3. Wei Yue. Seeing that Wei Yue only took half a minute longer than her, Yun Mian laughed out loud. She laughed for a while. Fortunately, I just jumped into the water and swam over. Otherwise he would have gotten there first. Both of them chose the A-level island. Yun Mian took half a minute less time. But the specific score has not yet been released. Yun Mian cannot guarantee that she can get a higher score. But the shorter the time, the greater the chance. After escaping successfully, the player can choose to return to his ship, or stay with the NPC for a while and leave tomorrow. If it were any other time, Yun Mian would probably stay and get close to the NPC to see if she could get any gifts. But today she has double buffs. And she is still thinking about what the island has become now. So she chooses to go back immediately. After a short teleport, Yun Mian returned to the island, smelling the familiar scent of grass. Yun Mian felt like she was home. The border collie was the first to discover Yun Mian's return. It was probably because the dog's nose was more sensitive. It was the first to rush to Yun Mian, wagging its tail, and even sat down and raised its hand to shake hands with Yun Mian. Yun Mian didn't know whether to laugh or cry. It seemed that Mario had taught it well these days, and it had learned to shake hands on its own initiative. Yun Mian remembered that she hadn't named the border collie yet. With 2 pets, she didn't have the idea of raising more pets, but just treating it as a pet dog. It didn't matter if there was no contract. This was a lilac meteorite border collie with beautiful hair and sparkling eyes. She touched its head, and it immediately rubbed its head against Yun Mian's hand. So good. Call you Aoli from now on. Yun Mian had discovered that it was a female dog before. Aoli seemed to like her new name very much, and turned around when she heard Yun Mian's words. Yun Mian, okay. I'm going to do something. You can go play by yourself. Aoli didn't run away, but followed Yun Mian. Yun Mian turned around in the courtyard and didn't see anyone. It seemed that everyone was working outside. She first received the treasure chest at the door. The 3 chests were 2 silver treasure chests and 1 gold treasure chest. Yun Mian hadn't opened a treasure chest for many days, and she felt itchy when she saw the chest. And today there was a double. She couldn't wait. She quickly opened a golden treasure chest. Open a good one first. Get milk powder times 5. Cod liver oil times 5. Bakery construction drawings times 1. Jam workshop construction drawings times 1. Island radio speaker times 1. Yun Mian likes the things this time very much. Milk powder has many uses. It can be used to drink, make desserts, and even used as feed to supplement nutrition for animals. She also got the construction drawings of 2 workshops. There are more and more workshops on the island, and she can make more things. As for this radio speaker, it is not used at present. It is like the village radio. If you shout in the radio room, the whole village can hear it. Yun Mian is the island broadcast. The problem is that she is the only one living on the island. There is no one else. At most, she hired many players to work. Yun Mian shouted on the radio, "You can come back for dinner." This is the only function. Yun Mian continued to open the box. The contents of the other 2 silver treasure chests are wine recipe times 1, basil seeds times 1, laurel seeds times 1, blueberry trees times 2, plum trees times 3, apple trees times 2, compost box times 3, fertilizer recipe times 1, fermentation barrel times 5, solar dryer blueprint times 1. Name, solar dryer. Function, can be used to dry some fruits, vegetables and grains. Required materials, energy stone times 3, iron ore times 10, aluminum ore times 5. This thing is very good. Yun Mian needs it right now. There is plenty of sunshine now, and Yun Mian needs to dry many things. With this dryer, she can dry all the vegetables and fruits in her warehouse, so she doesn't have to worry about them going bad. And she can also use this to extract oil. After doubling, these things became double. Yun Mian smiled from ear to ear. She put all the things in her backpack. She went to the workbench without stopping, and put 2 sets of materials to keep the workbench busy. She went to the breeding room to take a look. All the silkworms started to spin silk. wrapped themselves with silk, and turned into silkworm pupae. Yun Yanyan was still confused about how to deal with these silks. I think I need to buy a book to read. The number of chickens and ducks in it seems to have increased. The sheep that looked like a lamb before has given birth to a lamb. Yun Yanyan looked at its cute big watery eyes, and her heart melted. It's so cute. If the lamb wasn't still drinking milk. She really wanted to hold it and touch it. The animals were fed, and there was still unfinished feed in the feed bowl. The number of rabbits has doubled, and the area of the breeding room is not enough. I guess it will have to be upgraded in the next few days. Yun Yanyan plans to expand a few thatched houses to raise chickens and ducks, and build 2 pig pens to raise pigs. The breeding room is specially used to raise cattle, sheep, rabbits and horses. Otherwise, her little starfish coins would not be enough even if she added another 20,000. In 3 days, the island has undergone tremendous changes. The vegetable fields are full of crops. The seeds in the fields have sprouted and grown into seedlings. Although it is not yet time to harvest, it looks green and full of vitality, which makes people feel happy. After so much training in the game, Yun Yanyan can recognize various vegetables before the crops are ripe. The field closest to the courtyard is planted with chrysanthemum, spinach, carrots, lettuce, Shanghai green, sea cabbage, beetroot, coriander. There is a whole field of corn and potatoes near the orchard in the west. Rice, wheat, and some grains are planted in the south. As a big landlord, Yun Yanyan was very satisfied. Others would have a good harvest next year, but she would have a good harvest in a few days, which made her even more satisfied, thinking that she still had a double buff. Yun Yanyan began to patrol. The crops on the rare land are probably ripe. I'll go and harvest them quickly, but don't waste my double. She ran quickly to find the rare land. The vegetables and fruits that Yun Yanyan liked the most were planted here. Before she left, she deliberately put a sign next to the rare land and arranged for those players to plant this specific seed. For example, onions, eggplants, peppers, broccoli, asparagus, mushrooms. There are 5 varieties of peppers. They are chili pepper, screw pepper, lantern pepper, millet pepper, and string pepper. Each kind of pepper has a different cooking method, but they are all equally delicious. Yun Yanyan likes to use various peppers for seasoning. These species mature very quickly on rare land. There are many chili peppers. After harvesting, they can be dried and made into dried peppers or ground into pepper powder, which are both good choices. Yun Yanyan harvests with 1 click. Double your luck. Yun Yanyan happily counted them. It was really good. 2/3 of these vegetables were put on the shelf, and then some were left for her to eat. If you can't finish them, dry them into dried goods or process them and store them well. After Yun Yanyan finished harvesting vegetables, she went to the orchard. She didn't know how the orchard and the ranch were doing. When she reached the foot of the mountain, she couldn't help but exclaimed, "Wow! Half of the previously bare mountain has been planted with fruit trees. Although the saplings are still small, they will grow up in a few days." In the game, the growth cycle of a fruit tree is generally half a month. It will bloom in a week, and it will bear fruit in 2 weeks. Yun Yanyan can't wait to see the whole mountain full of fruits. There are fruit trees on the mountain, and there are also fruits planted at the foot of the mountain, including watermelons, strawberries, pineapples, tomatoes, pineapples. Several hired players are planting fruit trees on the mountain. Xiaoyi is hovering in the air to monitor, and Mario and his little son are also helping. Seeing this scene, Yun Yanyan was very happy. She hurried forward to greet everyone. Everyone was very happy to see Yun Yanyan back. These days, they have been very happy on Yun Yanyan's island. The food that Yun Yanyan prepared for them was simply too good. Everyone ate very well. This was much happier than being on their own boat, although they had to work. After eating, their state could be directly replenished. They were not tired for 2 hours. Just after work, it seemed that they had not felt tired yet, and their mental and physical strength were full. What's more, Yun Yanyan's island has a good environment and good air, and there is no need to worry about volcanic eruptions. You can get wages after finishing the work. Every night they would sigh in the chat channel. It would be great if Yun Yanyan's island recruited long-term workers. As long as there is a bite to eat, they can come here to work and are willing to come every day. It's a pity that the contract signed with Yun Yanyan is only 5 days. Everyone is looking forward to Yun Yanyan's return and asks her if she can work a few more days. Chapter 170 Volcano Season, 92 Days. Mario is reporting the results of his work in the past few days to Yun Yin Yin. The orchard will be completed soon, and the ranch is still under construction. It is estimated that all the fruit tree seedlings will be planted tomorrow, and the ranch will be ready in 2 days. Yun Yin Yin nodded with satisfaction. Okay. You have all worked hard. I will go back to give you extra meals in a while. Make some more fruits and smoothies to eat. The weather is so hot. Everyone must be too hot. Everyone was not very excited to hear that there would be extra meals, because they had eaten very well recently. But when they heard that there would be smoothies to eat, everyone became excited. In the volcano season, the weather is so hot and sunny, and it is so cool to be able to eat something as good as smoothies. Yun Yin Yin asked everyone about their tastes, and went back to make smoothies. She had saved some ice cubes before. Not much, but enough to make some smoothies. In addition to the players who worked for her, Yun Yin Yin made some more. 20 portions of mango smoothies. 10 portions of watermelon smoothies. 10 portions of peach smoothies. There were more people who wanted mango smoothies. After Yun Yin Yin finished making them, she gave everyone 1 portion and put the rest in her backpack, waiting to give them to her friends and relatives when they came back from the game. She returned to the studio with a bowl of peach smoothie. At this time, the materials on the workbench had all turned into items. She made 2 pieces of furniture that increased the shift's score. Everyone is scrambling for this item now. In order to upgrade as quickly as possible, everyone is looking for items that increase the ship's score. Yun Yin Yin put it on the trading center and opened an auction mode. She set the auction to 1 hour, and soon someone made a bid. She took out 2 drawings from the box today. Name, primary bakery, primary food production building. Function, can make various baked goods. After construction is completed, the island score will be increased by 25 points. Construction requirements, high quality wood times 200. Stone times 40. Iron ore times 30. Starfish coins times 5,000. Name, primary jam workshop, primary food production building. Function, can make various jams. After completion, the island score will be increased by 20 points. Construction requirements, high quality wood times 200. Stone times 20. Iron ore times 20. Starfish coins times 4,000. Yun Yin Yin only plans to build one of the 2 workshops. At present, she does not have enough starfish coins, so building one is just right. Upgrading requires unlocking 3 functional workshops. The mill and sausage baking room have been unlocked before, so it is enough to upgrade 1 more bakery. When the game is settled, she will build it immediately. Now she is short of money, and starfish coins are not enough. She opened the information of Shangyun. Name, Shangyun. Level 9 residential, upgradable. Score, 562. Upgrade conditions, island score reaches 800. Unlock pasture. Unlock at least 3 functional workshops. Unlock fish pond. Plantable land reaches 5 acres, completed. And fruit forest area reaches 2 acres. Yun Yin Yin made a schedule. When the fruit forest and pasture are completed, she will start to build the fish pond. And the island score is rising very fast. It will exceed 800 in a short time. Yun Yin Yin began to sort out the supplies. She planned to make a lot of money at the trading center while there were still a few hours left today. The double buff cannot be wasted at all. There are many good things she got in the warehouse, but she has not sorted them out. There are too many things to do, and she has forgotten them. She can't put them all in her backpack. She has to go to the warehouse from time to time. But she doesn't have time to check now. She will sell a batch of supplies first, clean up the warehouse, and then sort it out. Warehouse number 1 is full of vegetables and fruits. With all the vegetables Yun Yin Yin harvested today, it will be full again. Yun Yin Yin plans to sell 2/3 of the vegetables directly. Anyway, the whole planting area will soon have a good harvest. And then warehouse number 1 will be full again. In order to speed up, Yun Yin Yin sent a message in the chat channel, announcing that she was going to sell things. A large number of new fruits and vegetables will be available soon. If you need them, you can grab them. However, the quantity is a bit large this time, so don't worry about not being able to grab them. Yun Yin Yin is here to sell goods again. Great news. How much is a bit large? I'm worried that it's still not enough. Yun Yin Yin, don't underestimate the purchasing power of the majority of players. Ha! It's finally here. Ever since Yun Yin Yin escaped from the deserted island, I have been keeping an eye on the trading center. I knew she would add new products when she returned. Didn't she just put a few furniture on the shelves? Those are good stuff. Forget about the furniture. I just want to buy some vegetables. I ate the cabbage I bought from her last time. It tasted great. Boss, do you have any meat? My child hasn't eaten meat for a long time. Can you put some meat on the shelves? Yun, we have meat too. Wait a minute. Let's sell vegetables and fruits first. Warehouse number 2 is full of meat. There are too many chickens in the breeding house. We can sell some of them. There are also many eggs. We have stored a lot of fish and meat for a long time. It doesn't matter if we sell some of them. Anyway, there will be more and more of these things in the future. Yun put wheat times 500. Rice times 800. Potatoes times 400. Sweet potatoes times 500. More than 20 kinds of vegetables and fruits. Yun's small mall has been flooded with new status. The players are crazy. I didn't expect Yun to say so much. It was really quite a lot. But there are tens of thousands of people in the game. So this little bit can only be considered a small amount. Fortunately, most of the players went to participate in the competition. And few came back. The active ones are the players who did not participate in the competition. And there are not many strong ones. So many people can grab it. A total of tens of thousands of fruits and vegetables made Yun very profitable. Even if there is no double, she can make a lot of money. Not to mention after the double, Yun has a sense of pleasure of getting rich again. Although she is already very rich. But seeing the increase in supplies in the trading center, and the double prompt popping up like crazy, Yun's mouth couldn't help but rise. She asked to exchange vegetables and fruits for wood and starfish coins. In fact, starfish coins are not much. Usually 1 starfish coin for 1 kilogram of rice, 2 kilograms of potatoes, or 1 kilogram of cabbage. For seasonings such as green peppers and chili peppers, wood is used. 1 wood can be exchanged for 1 green pepper or 2 chili peppers. The price is quite affordable. The most expensive is fruit. 2 starfish coins can be exchanged for 1 watermelon or 3 mangoes. Players who have starfish coins on hand are willing to buy. Even if many players grow vegetables on the ship, they don't grow much. Most players use the materials to upgrade. What's more, the weather is hot now, and it takes a lot of water to grow vegetables, and even less fruit. Then, Yun opened warehouse number 2. Yun, I'll put some fish and chicken on the shelves later, but not much. Damn, there's meat. Is the boss so easy to talk to? Great. I want to grab the chicken. I just grabbed some potatoes. Here I come for the potato and chicken. There are only 500 portions. I definitely won't be able to grab them. Hey, is it so expensive? 1 portion of chicken costs 50 stones. It's still expensive. Don't buy it if you think it's expensive. And the stones are useless. Can't I just use the stones to exchange them if I don't have starfish coins? There's really not much meat. I didn't grab any. Can you put some more? 500 portions of meat. Mostly fish meat. Yun has accumulated all kinds of fish meat. And the chicken meat is from the breeding house recently. You can choose to turn the farm chicken into chicken by taking it out of the breeding house. You don't need to kill the chicken and pluck the feathers yourself. It will become a whole processed plucked chicken, which is very convenient. Yun, I will sort it out later and put some sausages and flour on the shelves. You can buy them. She planned to sell all the flour and sausages in the warehouse and make new ones tomorrow. At this time, Xia Tianxia, who had not been seen for a long time, came out. Don't worry about not having meat to eat. I have built a chicken farm. I will put chicken on the shelves in batches. As long as you join my union, you don't have to worry about vegetables and meat. Xia Tianxia and her partners created a union, planning to earn enough supplies before most players have an island, and develop their own island first. Especially when she saw that Yun's things were popular. Xia Tianxia was jealous. His island conditions were so good that it could definitely develop. Really? Xia Tianxia. Come and see what your chicken farm looks like. Yeah. Words are not enough. Who will listen to your empty promises? Yun has put real things on the shelves. What are the conditions for joining a guild? Guilds are good. I joined guilds when I played games before. If there are many benefits, joining a guild is not bad. Xia Tianxia, if you want to join a guild, please private message me. The guild is currently only recruiting 20 people. If you miss the opportunity, You will have to wait for the next time. Xia Tianxia did not reply in the chat channel after sending this message. Yun Niannian happened to see his message, thought about it, and sent a message to Hu Yuan. She was too lazy to set up such a guild, but she could ask Hu Yuan to do it. Anyway, it's okay as long as I can earn supplies. It's okay to let Hu Yuan run a union, and she can provide vegetables, fruits and meat. Her orchards, pastures and planting areas will produce a lot of food, and 10 people can't eat it all. So it's good to use it to support the union. But Yun Niannian is too lazy to think about how to set up a union and how to maintain it. Hu Yuan may be more suitable than her. It's better for her to be a shareholder who shares money behind the scenes, and she can develop her own island peacefully. Yun Niannian, are you interested in setting up a union? Hu Yuan, tell me. Yun Niannian, my ranch, orchard, planting area and breeding area are all developed. When the time comes, there will be no problem in raising a union. In the early stages of establishing a guild in a general game, members provide resources to the guild to help it grow and develop. Once the guild develops, it can provide support and help to members, including providing resources or props. Members can also get together to complete tasks, play games together, and share experiences. There are so many people in the region now. Before, they were divided into their own communities to develop their own gang organizations. Now that the servers have been merged, no one has organized a joint gang, mainly because of the constant disasters, and the players are too busy to take care of themselves. Now that there is an island as a backing, it is indeed an opportunity. Hu Yuan originally had some ideas in this regard, but his own strength could not support himself to do these things. With his luck and resources, it is already good to be a middleman to earn so much. Now, after hearing Yun Niannian say this, he immediately gained confidence and courage. Okay, I'll think about the specific rules. If I do it, it may be in your name. Are you willing? Yun Niannian, no problem. After all, the things are indeed provided by me. With Yun Niannian's name, it will be difficult for this union not to be run. And it must be run well. Yun Niannian and the union members will be pulled from the group. Ye Yangguang, Luo Luo, Luo Zhe, and my mother and brother can all come in. There is no need to worry about no one. They are all high-level and excellent players. But it is not good to have all acquaintances. If the union wants to grow, it can't be all relatives and friends. Yun Niannian also wants to go to District 1 to dig a few people, such as Zhao Yichen, Lin Qi and Shen Qianjue. Should I call Wei Yue? He is the boss of their district and has his own gang. I don't know if it is appropriate to call him. Because of the double buff, Yun Niannian earned 10,000 starfish coins and 3,000 stones by selling vegetables and meat, and also exchanged for some saplings and seeds. These things are just needed for her, so she can stock up more. The other 2 furnitures put up for auction also got the appropriate drawings. Yun Niannian originally wanted to wait for the results of the competition to come out and settle the accounts before building the bakery. It seems that she can do it now. Yun Niannian was suddenly rich in starfish coins again, and she happily put all the sausages and flour in the warehouse on it. 1 starfish coin can be exchanged for a sausage or a pound of flour. If all are sold, it can be exchanged for another 1,000 starfish coins, which doubles to 2,000. Yun Niannian thought happily that these starfish coins were enough to upgrade her breeding house and warehouse. At this time, Yun Niannian received a private message from Xia Tianxia. Xia Tianxia, are you interested in cooperating? Let's set up a union together, and we can share the resources in the future. Seeing Yun Niannian selling sausages and flour, Xia Tianxia immediately realized that Yun Niannian's development was very good, even much better than himself. He had thought about surpassing Yun Niannian before, but his partners advised him to win over Yun Niannian. After weighing the pros and cons, he decided to send a message to Yun Niannian. Seeing that Yun Niannian didn't reply for a long time, he sent another message. I just built a weaving workshop and a chicken farm. If we cooperate, we can share resources. Yun Niannian, no need. I also want to set up a union. Xia Tianxia. Yun Niannian, smiley face. Xia Tianxia was so angry that he vomited blood and sent the chat records to his partners. Xia Tianxia, what should I do? Yun Niannian also wants to set up a union. We must quickly attract some high-level players first. Unfortunately, the high-level players are still in the competition, and few of them have returned. Xia Tianxia, Wei Yue is back. Why don't I ask him? Shi Yan, Wei Yue. No need to go. He won't be willing. Xia Tianxia, why? Qi Yan, he is different from Yun Minyan. He has his own gang organization in District 1. Xia Tianxia, what should we do then? Qi Yan, don't worry. I'll come to meet you later to discuss it. Xia Tianxia, okay. More than 10 people have signed up. And you can just screen them and decide whether to accept them all. Qi Yan, you can accept those above level 8 in the early stage. Now accept 20 people first. And then recruit more people after the game is over. It is estimated that the game will be over the day after tomorrow at the latest. Xia Tianxia, okay. We need starfish coins urgently now. And it would be best to recruit more people who have won places in the competition and let them hand in starfish coins. When she received Luo Zhe's message, Yun Minyan was still putting daily necessities on the shelves. Sister Minyan, I'm back. Yun Minyan looked at the list of survivors and Luo Zhe's name appeared. He was the 6th. Yun Minyan, okay. I just made a smoothie. Which flavor do you want to eat? Luo Zhe, I want watermelon. Yun Minyan set a red watermelon smoothie. And she also made watermelon ice balls on it, and put a few pieces of fresh watermelon. The color was bright and very beautiful. Luo Zhe took a bite, and it was very sweet. Yun Minyan used the watermelon she grew herself. The watermelon was sandy, and had a soft texture. It was sweet in the mouth. She also tasted it herself. Luo Zhe, it's delicious. Yun Mian, ha ha ha. I'm busy. I won't tell you yet. You just came back, and have a good rest. Luo Zhe heard that Yun Mian was busy. So he didn't bother her anymore. He also had a lot of things to do. And the pet shark he had just contracted also needed to find a place to settle down. The shark could communicate with him mentally, and told him the location of an unowned island. And he would set off immediately, with the shark leading the way. It is estimated that the island can be contracted at midnight tonight, after a busy day until 12 o'clock. Yun Mian's harvest was exaggerated, and it could no longer be described as rich. More than 10,000 starfish coins. She would only be rewarded 20,000 if she ranked in the top 10 in the competition. She earned so much from selling something. And there were other miscellaneous supplies. But Yun Minyan was also exhausted. She lay on her soft bed and thought, I don't know when the next double will come. It really makes people want it to come quickly, but also want it to take a break before coming. Too tired. I haven't stopped since I came back today. The bakery and jam workshops are both under construction. Originally, I only planned to build one. But I got rich today, and got so many starfish coins. So I just built them all. Rich. Generous. And that summer Xia said that she built a weaving workshop. It seems that there are many types of buildings on the island. Maybe raising silkworms is to prepare for the weaving workshop. By then, I will probably start weaving cloth. With cloth, I can make clothes in batches. After browsing the chat channel for a while, Yun Minyan felt a little sleepy. So she opened her backpack to see the good things inside. Unowned island location card. Copy card. Garden construction blueprint. Reminder card. Pet guide. Server-wide loudspeaker. Fertilizer formula. Yun Minyan thought. How about the guild recruiting people to use a server-wide loudspeaker tomorrow? Then all players' panels will pop up the message said by Yun Minyan. Which seems very impressive. Then I have to think about the wording carefully. Yun Minyan fell asleep with a smile. Until she was woken up by Wally at 8 o'clock the next morning. Recently, the hygiene and security patrols of the courtyard were handed over to Wally and Eva. And Yun Minyan didn't have to worry about it at all. Octopus Girl couldn't stand the weather, and slept in the fish tank all day. Xiaoyu was better. He was not afraid of the heat, and flew everywhere. Penguin Xiaoguai was locked in the pet bag, and didn't come out. In this weather, there was no way to let him out. And I didn't know how Nye Yongguang's goslings would be raised. She got up and rolled the dice. It was top luck that everything went well. Yun Minyan was very happy. It seemed that she would be busy again today. There were many people who got up earlier than her. And many people sent her messages. When she looked at the list of escapees, the 28th one had already appeared. After one night, 20 new players successfully escaped. And it was estimated that several people would escape every hour in the future. The number of places is getting smaller and smaller. If we can get 70 today, there may be 100 people before noon tomorrow. Rongyu and Luo are back too. They all sent messages to Yun Mian. Nye Yongguang hasn't come back yet. Yun Mian is a little surprised. But she can watch Nye Yongguang's live broadcast. She was too busy yesterday, and didn't have time to watch it at all. She only heard people in the chat channel say that Nye Yongguang is very funny, and watching his live broadcast is good for eating. She just wanted to have breakfast. So she just opened it and took a look. As a result, she almost burst out laughing when she opened it. Nye Yongguang looked like a refugee, with a face full of charcoal and his hair was burned. He was a little fat before, but now he seemed to be thinner. Yun Mian thought. Maybe it's because black makes people look thinner. Because Nye Yongguang's clothes, face, hair, and all the exposed and uncovered parts of his body were all black. Don't look at him like this. But he has already walked to the beach. Yun Mian laughed so hard that she forgot what she was going to eat. She stared at the live broadcast screen and saw Nye Yongguang's eyes were dull. He asked in a daze, "Is this really the beach? I'm not sleepwalking. Am I?" He shook his head as he spoke. In the chat channel, some people were also discussing Nye Yongguang's live broadcast. I'm almost dying of laughter at Nye Yongguang. Ha ha ha. I'm watching Nye Yongguang too. He fell into a volcanic pit last night. Fortunately, it was a dead volcano. I thought he was dead, but I didn't expect him to walk directly to the beach. He's lucky. He's lucky. But he hasn't escaped yet. He's just average. Right? That's because you don't know how bad he is. Just go and see. Nye Yongguang was already hallucinating. He didn't dare to go into the sea, even though he felt uncomfortable and thirsty. If it wasn't the sea, but magma, I'd be dead. Nye Yongguang muttered to himself. But at this moment, a boat came from a distance and stopped at the shore. The man on the boat wore a hat and was dressed in an exaggerated manner. He shouted at Nye Yongguang. "Young man, how are you? Do you need help?" Yun Mian was stunned. "Is this okay?" The guide NPC came to pick him up himself. Nye Yongguang's luck is really amazing. Yun Mian watched him being taken to the boat by the guide NPC in a daze, and then left the Hell Volcano Island. About a few minutes later, Nye Yongguang's name was added to the list of escapees. The audience also exclaimed that it was amazing. Now no one denied that Nye Yongguang had good luck. Compared with Gu Feng, Nye Yongguang's luck was amazing. Gu Feng is still suffering on the island. Although he has maxed out his survival skills, he just can't get out. After Nye Yongguang's live broadcast ended, Yun Mian went to find someone else's live broadcast. But she didn't expect to see Yun Xiao also live broadcasting. Her eyes lit up. Take a look. Yun Mian opened Yun Xiao's live broadcast and took out the buns and porridge that she had prepared before for breakfast. She didn't make them in the morning. Yun Xiao chose the Rift Valley Island. He just climbed over a waterfall, climbed out of the Rift Valley, came to the high ground, and saw the sea. He won a machete in the lottery, and was desperately chopping trees to make a raft to leave the island. The boy is not bad. It seems that Yun Xiao has a chance to enter the top 100. I don't know how my mother is doing. Yun Mian ate a big meat bun and her mouth was full of oil. The meat was fragrant. The juice was full. And the bun's skin was soft. It was really delicious. I will send some to Yun Xiao when he returns to the boat. Just as she was thinking, Nye Yongguang sent a voice message. Mian, hurry and give me something to eat. I can't take it anymore. Nye Yongguang's voice was filled with tears. It seemed that she was really suffering. But Yun Mian inexplicably wanted to laugh. It seemed that this was not good. She had just watched the live broadcast. Nye Yongguang was quite miserable. She quickly sent a few of the meat buns she was eating, and also sent a bowl of millet porridge. If you haven't eaten well for a few days, you can drink some millet porridge to nourish your stomach. Nye Yongguang was very moved, and knew that he could get delicious food immediately by looking for Yun Mian. After eating 2 bites, Nye Yongguang recovered. Nye Yongguang began to cry. I am so miserable. You don't know? Yun Mian, I know. Nye Yongguang? Yun Mian, I watched the live broadcast. Nye Yongguang set a few painful expressions. Yun Mian, it's okay. It's good to be back. You still have a place. Nye Yongguang, you know. This is not what I want. Chapter 171 Volcano Season, 93 Days. Yun Mian took out the garden construction blueprint. Name, small garden building. Function, increase island score by 20. Required materials, high quality wood times 100. Ordinary wood times 100. Stone times 100. Flower seedling times 100. Yun Mian didn't have many flower seedlings. She had obtained 20 rose seedlings before, and they were still in the warehouse. She opened the trading center to buy some flower seedlings, but found that there were few people selling flower seedlings in the trading center. Only a few plants. She had to go to the mall to have a look. The mall always has everything. And the price is not cheap. One rose seedling costs 5 starfish coins. Yun Mian wanted to buy 80 plants, which cost 400 starfish coins. But it was good to increase the island score by 20 points. Other workshops could only increase the score by 20 points. But the garden had no other function. Unlike those workshops that could be used for production. She bought the seedlings and clicked to build. The system prompted her to choose a location for placement. So Yun Yin found a piece of land next to the courtyard. But not next to it. The garden was pleasing to the eye and fragrant. So of course, it had to be closer to where she lived. But Yun Yin was worried that there would be a lot of mosquitoes. In such hot weather, it might attract mosquitoes and bees. So it is a little far away. And it is best to walk for a few minutes. Yun Yin also placed the swing and pavilion she got before next to the construction site of the garden. When she has time, she can dig a small pond next to the garden, plant some aquatic plants in the pond, and raise some small fish. It should be very interesting. The construction time of the garden will take 20 hours. And you can see it tomorrow morning. Yun Yin turned around to check the 2 workshops built yesterday. The bakery and jam workshop appeared out of thin air on the open space, not far from the sausage workshop and the mill. Yun Min's idea is to build this place into a production base. These 2 buildings look very beautiful, both in European style. The roof of the bakery looks like a cream tip. The windows are the color of macarons. The walls outside are the color of cream cakes. The door is pink, and there are some patterns on the wall, which are candies, small cakes, macarons, and croissants. They look so lifelike that people want to take a bite and taste them directly. The jam workshop is very fruity, with fruit patterns all over the wall. Bright colors, but very comfortable to match. Yun Yin can't wait to try it. According to the prompts, you only need to put the ingredients into the bakery according to the recipe on the baking recipe. And after a certain period of time, the corresponding food will be delivered. For example, croissants. You need to put in flour, water, yeast, butter, sugar. Each material should be in the right amount. According to the recipe, you can put in multiples, but it will take longer. For example, if you put in ingredients that can make a croissant, you can get a croissant in 10 minutes. But if you put in 10 ingredients, it will take 100 minutes. And you can't pause or end it early. You must wait 100 minutes to get a croissant. The same is true for the jam workshop. For example, making strawberry jam requires fresh strawberries, white sugar, lemon juice. Yun Yin is better at making Chinese buns, and rarely makes Western desserts. So she simply bought a baking recipe book in the mall. 200 starfish coins can buy a basic dessert recipe book, which contains recipes for more than a dozen desserts. At present, the ingredients are limited, and Yun Yin decided to make some donuts first. Flour, yeast, water, eggs, butter and sugar are needed. She put in enough ingredients to make 20 donuts, which can be produced in an hour. In addition, she used a lot of fresh strawberries and apples, and planned to make some strawberry jam and apple jam. Each kind was made of 20 kilograms. And it is estimated that there will be 10 bottles made by then, which will be given to friends to try. At 12 o'clock, Yun Xiao and Xiao Ruowei also successfully escaped from the deserted island and were on the list of the top 100 escapees. Yun Xiao was slightly faster than Xiao Ruowei by more than 10 minutes. Xiao Ruowei was exactly the 95th place, and the list was full 10 minutes later. System announcement: the competition is over, and the results of all players will be announced before 6 p.m. Please check your email. Although the ranking of the escape time of the survivors has been released, the scores are still uncertain. Everyone on the list can get a reward. Yun Yin quickly sent a message to Xiao Ruowei. Yun Yin, Mom, do you want to come to my island for dinner and take a bath to rest? I also made a smoothie. Xiao Ruowei was dirty and had just returned to the boat from the deserted island. She was about to take a bath, but she replied immediately after seeing Yun Yin's message. It's okay, baby. I'll come after I take a shower. There's still a lot to do on the boat. Yun Yin asked Yun Xiao if he wanted to come. Yun Xiao said he was busy upgrading and looking for unowned islands, so he didn't have time to play. Yun Yin planned to use the copy card to copy the unowned island location card and give one to her mother and Yun Xiao, so that they could both bind to the island. At present, the number of unowned islands is decreasing. Yun Mianmian is worried that not all players can bind to the island. Maybe the number of unowned islands is limited, and the volcanic season is about to end. Since Yun Mianmian has the card, she might as well let them use it. There is no need to sell it to others. She doesn't need to use this card to exchange for supplies now. In fact, Yun Mianmian knew that her mother and brother wanted to be self-reliant, and would not rely on her just because she was doing well. Otherwise, they could just move to the island and live there. Why would they need to find an unowned island? But Yun Mianmian also supported them to upgrade. In fact, it was the same as having your own house. Although they were a family, everyone wanted to have their own space. You can meet whenever you want. What's more, this is a survival game, and accidents can happen at any time. It is better to rely on yourself than on others. She said 2 positioning cards to Yun Xiao and Xiao Ruwei respectively, asking them to use them as soon as possible. Yun Mianmian had a hunch that after this game, the system would have new movements. Yun Xiao, I'll come and help you with the work after I bind the island. Yun Mianmian, ha ha ha. Okay, there's a lot of work to do. Xiao Ruwei, thank you. My baby? Yun Mianmian, Mom. Go find an island and level up quickly. Yun Mianmian is very happy to be able to help her family. This is also one of the motivations for her to work so hard. Hu Yuan made a detailed plan for the establishment of a union. The goal of the union, how to develop in the future, and how many people to recruit initially. After reading Hu Yuan's plan, Yun Mianmian was quite satisfied. Yun Mianmian, the island of advanced players has just developed, and most ordinary players may not have bound to the island yet. In addition to supplies, the union can provide members with sharing of various experiences. In fact, as long as there are stable supplies and a good environment, players should be willing to join. Hu Yuan, I think it's better for the guild to have you as the president. I know you're busy, and some tedious things can be handed over to me, but I think it will be more attractive to players if you take the lead. Yun Mianmian, alright. I have a good thing. I'll use it later and recruit people for the guild. She showed Hu Yuan the server-wide loudspeaker. Hu Yuan smiled and said, this thing is really powerful. It will make a lot of noise after using it. Yun Mianmian, it's okay. If you want to do it, make a big noise. The chat channel is most active during lunchtime, and the game is over now. All players, whether they have escaped successfully or not, have returned to their ships or islands. After a busy morning, the players finally had time to eat and rest. Yesterday, Yun Mianmian added a lot of new ingredients, and most players got some, so they can have a good lunch today. Surviving at sea for so long, since someone showed off their lunch in the chat channel a long time ago, there is a tradition of posting what they are eating at noon every day. At this moment, many players are posting their lunch in the chat channel. I got the chicken from Yun Mianmian yesterday, and made a potato roast chicken. It smells so good. Picture. Finally I can eat rice. Wow. It's delicious. Picture. Northerners have been wanting to eat noodles and garlic for months. Thanks to Yun Mianmian for making my wish come true. Pictures. I really hope Yun Mianmian can update new products every day, so that I can eat delicious food every day. Damn it. I was still on the island competing when the new products were released yesterday, so I didn't buy any. No. Yun Mianmian, please update the new products again today. Please. Look at the feast I made. With chicken, fish and Chinese cabbage. Ha ha ha. I was lucky to get a lot yesterday. I'm drooling. It looks so appetizing. I want to eat it. What's the big deal? Let me show you my work meal on Yun Mianmian Island. Pictures, pictures, pictures. A series of pictures are dazzling. Grilled steak. Tofu stewed beef brisket with rice. Fat beef sukiyaki pot. Tiger skin chicken feet. And some fruits and drinks can also be seen in the pictures. Oh my god. The food on Yun Mianmian Island is so good. Help. The kids are crying. Is Yun Mianmian still hiring? I want to go. Sign up. Sign up? Who should I ask to sign up? The chat channel exploded. At this moment, a red and bold scrolling text popped up on everyone's chat channel. Yun Mianmian, District 3 the guild is hiring, with rich resources and many benefits. Interested parties can contact Hu Yuan's personal information. The whole district was in an uproar. Yun Mianmian's guild. I want to join. How many people are they hiring? What are the requirements? I'll sign up right away. The effect Yun Mian wanted was achieved. Fortunately, she asked all the applicants to go to Hu Yuan. Otherwise she would be too busy to reply to messages. Hu Yuan also has his own secretary. After the team expanded, he hired 2 assistant secretaries, 1 male and 1 female, to assign work and convey messages. But there were too many people asking for advice at this time, and he couldn't reply to them all. Hu Yuan quickly refreshed the chat channel and posted many requirements for joining the guild. Of course, the benefits were also introduced, and a more detailed one was also posted in the forum. If players want to know more, they can go to the forum to see it. Just when Hu Yuan was struggling with how to manage so many people in a unified way, the system sent a message. The final results of the Deserted Island Escape competition have been released. The score sheet will be sent to each player, and the system will issue rewards based on the ranking. Yun Mian immediately clicked on the score sheet. Her name came into view. First place, Yun Mian. Second place, Wei Yue. Third place, Luo Zhe. The reward for the top 100 players is a survival gift package. The rewards for the top 10 players are 20,000 starfish coins, 1 building gift package, 1 random workshop construction map, and the first place will have a hidden reward. All rewards can be stacked, so the first place Yun Mian can get a very rich reward. Of course, Yun Mian is most looking forward to this hidden reward. She couldn't wait to open the email sent by the system to receive the gift package and reward. Obtained, survival gift package, starfish coin times 1,000. A week of nutritious meals. Starfish coin times 20,000. Architecture gift package, treehouse blueprint times 1. Sandalwood furniture full set blueprint times 1. Apple tree times 10. Blueberry tree times 10. Textile workshop building blueprint. Hidden reward, talk to the system for 1 hour. I didn't expect it to be this kind of hidden reward. The system has always been mysterious, and basically players can only explore and think about any questions they have. Now that they can talk, Yun Mian is very excited. She has many questions to ask the system. The most important thing is, of course, when this game will end. Also, why this game exists, and what is its purpose. What will happen after the volcano season ends? Are all the players who were eliminated before really dead? Is there any hope of returning to the real world? There are too many questions. Yun Mian has to ask them one by one. After using the mysterious reward, a temporary dialogue appears on the panel. Yun Mian tentatively typed, "Hello. Can we start the dialogue now?" System, "Hello player. You have 1 hour to communicate with me. Please pay attention to the time." Yun Mian decided to ask the most important question first. Can the player still return to the real world? System, "Yes." This answer made Yun Mian very excited. She immediately asked the next question, "How can I return to the real world?" After a while, the system replied to her. After reaching level 10, the player will naturally know. Yun Mian, "Can I tell you now? It turns out that I can choose not to answer." Yun Mian sighed. There was nothing I could do. It just said that they could communicate, but it didn't say that they would answer everything. Anyway, she would be able to level up soon, so she continued to ask other questions. Chapter 172. Yun Mian, are the players who are eliminated in the game really dead? System, after level 10, the players will get the answer. They said that they would know the answer only after reaching level 10. Yun Mian frowned. How many levels are there in this game? And what is the highest level? System, level 10. Yun Mian was a little surprised. There were only 10 levels in total, so she would reach the maximum level soon. Yun Mian was confused for a while about what to do after reaching the maximum level. It seemed that many things would not be revealed until she reached level 10. Yun Mian, is there really hope to return to the real world? System, yes. Players who pass the test can return to reality. Yun Mian, after the volcanic season ends, will there be other seasons? System, the volcanic season is the last season. When the volcanic season ends, the game will enter a new chapter. Yun Mian exclaimed. A new chapter? Yun Mian asked puzzledly, what do you mean? System, the survival game is a test. A test of human nature, and a test of human survival ability. You carry the hope of all mankind. Yun Mian was confused by what the system said. She pondered for a while, but couldn't figure out what the system meant. Yun Mian, what is a new chapter? System, after the volcanic season, the game will enter the rainy season again, which is a new chapter. It turns out that there are 3 seasons in the game, which will cycle, just like in reality. The 4 seasons also cycle back and forth. Yun Minyan thought of another question. Currently, I and other players are preparing to form a union to bring players together. Will the system have a union mode in the future? Or will it always be a single-line development mode like it is now? She has played some games that have union or gang modes, where players can set up gangs and recruit people, which is very convenient. System. Cooperation between players can be completed through the friend system, and the system will not change the existing mode at present. That means it will not happen for the time being. Yun Minyan asked all the questions she wanted to ask, but the system's answers were not completely satisfactory to her, and most of them were vague. Everything pointed to the level after level 10. This made her even more curious about what level 10 would become. For Yun Minyan, level 10 was not something out of reach, but could be reached very quickly. Yun Minyan decided to focus on level 10 and put everything else aside. Since level 10 was so important, there were only a few days left in the volcanic season, and she must reach level 10 in these few days. Maybe if she reached the maximum level, she would be able to find a way back to reality. The rewards she got this time were not much, and what Yun Minyan wanted most was the starfish coin. In the later stage, many things she needed could not be exchanged in the trading center, and could only be bought in the mall. Hiring NPCs also requires it, so starfish coins have become the most important currency in circulation. After reaching level 9, players will know the importance of starfish coins, but players who have not bound to an island do not know. Only some players found that Yun Minyan traded things in exchange for starfish coins, so they deliberately kept starfish coins. There are 2 drawings in this reward, namely treehouse drawings and textile workshop building drawings. After construction, it can increase the island score, so Yun Minyan clicked to make it without hesitation. The orchard will be completed today, and the ranch has just begun. Yun Minyan had dug a lot of turf before, but it was not enough. She had 2 options. Either sow grass seeds and wait for the seeds to germinate and grow grass, or she would dig more turf. It would take a few days to wait for the grass seeds to germinate, but if there was turf, it would only take a day to lay it, considering that the fish pond had just started to be built, and it would take a few days to complete. Yun Minyan still chose to sprinkle grass seeds and wait for the grass seeds to germinate, because she had to find turf. Yun Minyan had to find a suitable island with at least a fertile grassland on it. This kind of island was not easy to find, and it was likely to waste a lot of her time and end up with nothing. In order to ensure that the fish pond could be built smoothly, Yun Minyan bought a book on fish pond farming in the mall and planned to teach herself how to manage the fish pond. This book mainly teaches her how to select a site and design a fish pond. Yun Minyan toured the entire island and finally found a suitable site. Water source and light are very important, and they must meet these 2 basic conditions. She decided to reclaim a piece of land in the middle of the island to design a fish pond. The area, depth, slope, water depth, and dam height of the fish pond were all carefully designed by Yun Minyan. She asked Gu Fong to help her. He had some experience in fish farming. He had raised fish for a while in his hometown before, and he was also a senior fisherman. Finally, the 2 of them determined the water inlet and outlet together, and the design of the entire fish pond was completed. The next step was to prepare the materials for building the fish pond. Cement, sand, stones. The day before yesterday, Yun Minyan sold supplies and stockpiled a lot of stones, but it was still not enough. So she put a batch of food on the shelf and exchanged for enough stones. The work of making cement was outsourced to Hu Yuan. 2,000 portions of cement. The raw materials need limestone and iron ore. With Hu Yuan's help, find 100 people to work non-stop, and it can be made in 1 day. In order to speed up the process, Yun Minyan increased the manpower and hired a group of 10-man teams to come to the island to help build the fish pond. The construction of the entire island is in full swing. The recruitment of the union is still going on, and most of Yun Minyan's friends have joined the union. Hu Yuan asked Yun Minyan to name the union. She followed the simple and direct naming method and named it the Strongest Union. Hu Yuan replied with a thumbs-up expression. All the friends in District 3 joined the union, and Shen Qianjue and Zhao Yichen in District 1 agreed to join the union. And Lin Qi said he would ask Wei Yu's opinion. After all, Lin Qi was the second in command of Wei Yu's gang. To join another union, Wei Yu's consent was required. As a result, Yun Minyan did not wait for Lin Qi, but for Wei Yu's news. Wei Yu, The strongest union. What is the name you chose? Yun Mian, yes. Wei Yue, you took all my people away without informing me? Yun Mian, ha ha ha. You already know it. Wei Yue, why didn't you invite me? Yun Mian said in surprise. Are you going to come in too? Wei Yue, since it is the strongest union, why shouldn't I join? Am I not strong enough? Yun Mian was stunned. Of course I am. I didn't expect Wei Yue to take the initiative to join. Which was unexpected. Wei Yue, yeah. Yun Mian thought about it. Since Wei Yue is here, she should be assigned a position. If you come, I will make you a vice president. Wei Yue, how many vice presidents do you have? Yun Mian, including you. There are 2 at present. And the other one is Hu Yuan, who is generally in charge of the union's affairs. Wei Yue, okay. With Wei Yue's joining, Yun Mian's union has become much stronger. When the people in District 1 heard that the boss had joined, they had no reason not to join. And they all came to sign up. However, in the first stage, the union can only recruit 80 people. Too many people are difficult to manage. Not to mention that there are not enough manpower and material resources to maintain the distribution of materials for the union. We can't just expand the union and keep adding people. I thought Wei Yue was looking for her just to talk about the union. But he sent another message asking if she had time to meet. If they want to meet, Wei Yue will either go to Yun Mian's island or invite Yun Mian to his island. Yun Mian hesitated for a while and decided to go to Wei Yue's island to have a look. As her biggest rival, Yun Mian also wanted to know how Wei Yue was doing. I'll go to your island. Anyway, there were people doing the work on the island, so it wouldn't matter if Yun Mian left for a while. Just come back early. Wei Yue said an invitation soon. Yun Mian clicked to accept. And 10 minutes later, she appeared at the door of Wei Yue's English manor. The manor was noble and elegant, and was renovated by Wei Yue. The wall color and roof shape changed, and there was a large garden full of roses next to it. There was a forest behind the manor, and a green space in front. Like a fairy tale world. When choosing before, Yun Mian thought the big manor was good. But in the end, she chose the courtyard house she liked more. Wei Yue's previous ship was well decorated, and now it has been replaced with a house, which is also very stylish. Yun Mian suspected that he was an architect in the real world. Yun Mian walked out as soon as he arrived at Wei Yue. He was followed by a hound and a round robot next to him, which looked very similar to Eva. You did a good job. Wei Yue, I put some thought into it. Yun Mian nodded, and Wei Yue led her in and came to the hall. The house also carried out the elegance of the British style, and every decoration was very luxurious. She sat down on the sofa, and the robot brought her snacks. There was black tea in a bone china cup, and the snacks were macarons and peanut candy. Yun Mian secretly smacked her lips in her heart and picked up a piece of peanut candy to taste. It's delicious. Wei Yue, it's made by the candy workshop. If you like it, I'll give you some. Okay. Yun Mian didn't hesitate to be polite with him. Wei Yue, I asked you to come here to talk to you about the game. Yun Mian, okay. I just got some news, and I can discuss it with you. Wei Yue, is it related to your hidden reward? Yun Mian was shocked. How could this person predict the future? But she said calmly, you know it again. Wei Yue, I guessed it. Let me tell you first. Yun Mian took the tea and took 2 sips. The tea was rich, and the taste of black tea was very comfortable. After I escaped successfully, I stayed on the NPC ship for a long time and got a lot of information. Yun Mian's eyes lit up. She originally wanted to do this, but she had a double buff and was in a hurry to come back to produce and earn materials. Wei Yue thought the same as her and did the same. Of course Yun Mian would not regret it. If she had known earlier, she would have made a lot of money with this double buff and got so many starfish coins. What did you find out? Yun Mian asked. As long as we upgrade before the end of the volcanic season, we can know the biggest secret of the game and may be able to return to reality. After hearing Wei Yue's words, Yun Mian looked calm, as if she had known it for a long time. Wei Yue observed her expression and continued, do you want the game to end and return to reality? The reason for asking this question is actually because Yun Mian is doing very well in the game. Perhaps better than she is in reality. Some people are like this, unwilling to return to reality and just want to stay in the game forever. Yun Mian is also living a good life in the real world. People with good luck like her will not be bad anywhere. If she can end it all and go back, it will be good. She hopes her family can live a stable life. If it can end, it will certainly be a good thing. Wei Yue, what if returning to the real world is worse? Yun Nian frowned. What do you mean? Wei Yue, you also got some information. Why don't you share it too? Yun Nian held her forehead and sorted out her words. It's like this. My hidden reward is a chance to communicate with the system. So I asked the system a lot of questions. Wei Yue's expression became serious. He sat upright and looked straight at Yun Nian. Yun Nian felt uncomfortable being looked at by him. And continued, I asked him when the game would end. And the system said that I would get answers to many things after reaching level 10. And level 10 should be a very critical juncture. Wei Yue, level 10. Isn't it very soon? Yun Nian, yes. And the system says level 10 is the maximum level. Wei Yue said seriously, if that's the case, we will get the answer soon. But now I have a guess. Returning to the real world may be different from what we imagined. What will it be like? Yun Nian was a little panicked by what he said. Chapter 173 Volcano Season, 96 Days. Wei Yue, according to the analysis of the NPC, there was a group of players before. But no player reached level 10 before the end of the volcano season. We are a new group. Yun Nian thought of the level 9 abandoned ship Medusa that she had seen on the seabed. Maybe that was the ship of the previous batch of players. Or maybe it was the player from earlier. This made Yun Nian even more curious. What will happen after level 10? Yun Nian, the system said that the volcano season is the last season. If we don't upgrade after the volcano season ends, we will enter a new cycle, and the rainy season will come again. Wei Yue was silent for a moment, after falling into a new cycle. Maybe you will stay in the game forever? Yun Nian, maybe. But if that's the case, what about the previous players? Aren't they also left in the game? Wei Yue fell into deep thought. Or maybe they went to another place. Such as another level of game space. Things became brain-burning. Yun Nian, it's useless to guess now. We can only know after reaching level 10. Wei Yue, what is your island score? Yun Nian told the truth, more than 500. Wei Yue, I'm about the same. If nothing goes wrong, we should upgrade at about the same time. Yun Nian was a little surprised. She thought she was far ahead. But Wei Yue was so confident. And he didn't go to her island to see. As if seeing what Yun Nian was thinking. Wei Yue said frankly, there are people from my district working on your island. Yun Nian clicked her tongue twice. So you have spies around me. Wei Yue explained, it's the gang that collects information about the strong people in each district. And you just happen to be among them. She was not angry. This kind of thing was normal. When Yun Nian hired players to work on the island, she knew that the situation on her island could not be concealed. At most it could be concealed from some ordinary players. But for someone like Wei Yue, as long as he finds a way, he will definitely find someone to ask. No matter if it is coercion or inducement, there will always be someone willing to tell. Besides, Yun Nian and he have always been competitors. So it is normal for him to want to know Yun Nian's progress. Yun Nian, you know too much. Wei Yue smiled and said, I invited you here today to show you my island. So we are even. Yun Nian shrugged, okay. Let's talk while we walk. She finished the tea in the cup, got up and walked out. Wei Yue, if you don't mind, I will drive you. Yun Nian, oh. What car? A motorcycle? Wei Yue shook her head. No. Yun Nian soon saw the car. It was a three-wheeled motorcycle. Yun Nian had seen this kind of car in the streets and alleys when she was a child. It was the kind of tricycle that would make a sound when reversing. Please be careful when reversing. Please be careful when reversing. This kind of car has a similar appearance and structure to traditional tricycles. But it is an electric car. Just very slow. It is suitable for driving on the island. A very old means of transportation. Wei Yue driving this kind of car is really inconsistent with his temperament. Especially driving such a car in an English manner. It is really too out of place. However, it is better to sit in a car than to walk. So Yun Nian still chose to get in the car. Wei Yue turned around and asked, are you sitting firmly? Yun Nian, yes. Let's go. Wei Yue took Yun Nian around the island. Although the mountain roads were all bumpy, the car drove very steadily. Yun Nian did not feel particularly bumpy, but felt very novel. The island is not particularly large, but the environment is very good. There are green mountains, rivers and hot springs. The entire manor is surrounded by mountains and water in the middle of the island. Not far from the sea. The manor is like a resort. When he arrived at the vegetable field, Yun Mianmian found that Wei Yue had hired 2 NPCs to work for him. And there were more than a dozen people working in the vegetable field. There were also more than 10 people planting fruit trees on the mountain. Yun Mianmian asked, "Where did you find so many people to work?" "There are 20 to 30 people working in the gang in District 1. And we asked Hu Yuan for 10 more people. So there are so many. The cohesion of District 1 is still strong. With Wei Yu's order, dozens of people are willing to come to work. But Wei Yue must have given a lot of benefits. Otherwise, in a survival game, who would be willing to give up their own development and come here?" Yun Mianmian decided to go back and hire more people. If she could reach level 10 sooner, she would have time to help others upgrade quickly. Many questions could be answered. There was only 1 week left in the volcanic season, so she had to hurry up. After chatting with Yun Mianmian, Wei Yue sent a message in the regional chat of Area 1, asking all players who could not upgrade in the short term to gather together to help the level 9 players who had bound the island. Yun Mianmian thought about it, and also shared her and Wei Yue's findings with everyone in the friend group. Let friends sprint in the next few days to speed up the upgrade. According to Wei Yue's investigation, there are about 100 level 9 players who have bound to the island. Among these people, Yun Mianmian has the best development. She and Wei Yue are high-level players in the highest echelon. There are also some players who have only been bound for a few days and have not yet developed well, such as Nie Yangguang, who are in the second echelon. The remaining Luo Zhe, Luo Luo, and Yun Xiao and Xiao Ruowei, who just bound to the island today, are in the third echelon. These people all have the opportunity to rush to level 10 before the volcanic season. There are so many people in the whole server, but only more than 100 people have reached level 9. In fact, under normal circumstances, few people can reach level 10. The leap from level 9 to level 10 is very large. Island development is not as simple as ship development. It requires a lot of manpower and resources. It is not something that can be completed by working at the workbench for a few more days as before. It will take at least a year or 2 for one person to upgrade. It is normal that none of the previous batch of players reached level 10 before the volcanic season. So what exactly is the system testing? This volcanic season is almost over, and the system has no movement, and even no prompts. Unlike before, it will issue tasks and inform players that those who have not upgraded within the specified time will be eliminated. Now there is only 1 week left, and the system only has a competition to escape from the deserted island, and nothing else. Yun Mianmian guessed that this competition was probably for the seed players like them to earn starfish coins. The top 10 players all received 20,000 starfish coins, which could help them buy enough resources to develop the island. When Yusher asked, "But didn't the system say before that players who could safely survive the volcanic season would get a chance to return to reality?" She had just found an unowned island today, but the resources on this island were not good, and she was not sure whether to bind it. When she saw Yun Mianmian's words, she immediately clicked to bind. Rong Yu analyzed, "I have a guess. Maybe we can only bring everyone back to reality after someone reaches level 10. If no one reaches level 10 before the end of the volcanic season, it means that no one has passed the test, and everything will start again in the rainy season." Nie Yangguang, the system said before that the volcanic season is divided into 3 stages. So we are now in the 3rd stage. Why nothing happened? Luo Zhe, the frequency of volcanic eruptions recently is the same as before. There is no change. But the temperature has risen. It is hotter. When you sure, I also feel it. If I were on the boat, I couldn't stay outdoors at all. But it was okay on the island. The temperature on the island is different from the temperature on the boat. When I was on the boat, the temperature was 45 degrees Celsius. But when I just arrived on the island, it was not that hot. Only more than 30 degrees Celsius. Luo Zhe, recently, many players said they had heat stroke. All of them were level 8 players. No wonder Yun Mianmian didn't notice, because she has been staying on the island all the time. Yun Mianmian, but players can stay in the boat and not come out. There is a constant temperature system on the boat. Rong Yu, so there is no trouble now. Players who can't stand it are hiding in the boat, but they have to go out. Otherwise how can they bind to the island? When you sure, yes. I almost fainted when I came out today. If the temperature continues to rise, I can't go out at all. Level 8 players can't even think about upgrading. Yun Mianmian suddenly realized that it was no wonder that after so much time, there were fewer and fewer players upgrading recently. One reason is that it is difficult to find unowned islands, And the other reason is that the temperature is so high that players dare not come out at all. Yun Mianmian got the formula of electrolyte water before, and decided to give it to Hu Yuan, asking him to find someone to make a batch and put it in the trading center. Maybe it can help some people. It is very effective to drink this for heatstroke. At least it can give everyone a break. In the next few days, Yun Mianmian did not leave the island, but was developing on the island. After she increased the manpower, the fish pond has taken shape, and today is the time to release the fry. Opening the island information, you can see that the tasks of orchards, pastures and 5 acres of arable land have all been completed. Only the fish pond has not been completed. The island score is currently 600 points. There is still 200 points left. Yun Mianmian has no idea, and doesn't know how to increase it, so she can only discuss with everyone in the group. Brainstorming will definitely be useful. After everyone discussed, they came up with several solutions. The first solution, build more workshops. Each workshop will add 20 to 25 points. Building 5 workshops will add 100 points. However, the workshop construction blueprint is very rare. Yun Mianmian can only get 1 out of the box a day. This is still the case with good luck. This morning she opened 3 treasure chests, and a toy production workshop construction blueprint was opened. The second solution is, build a dock. Since it is an island, it needs a dock, and Yun Mianmian's island is too closed. There is no way to go between the island and her residence. To go to the beach, Xiaoyi has to wait for Yun Mianmian to fly over. If Yun Mianmian hadn't invited players to go directly to her residence, it would be difficult for others to come in. Of course, this is very defensive. But now in order to increase the island score, building a dock will definitely increase it a lot. The third way is to smash the starfish coins and upgrade all the infrastructure, such as warehouses, breeding houses, greenhouses. Upgrading them all to the maximum level will definitely increase it by several dozen points. Today is the 96th day. Time is tight. In order to help Yun Mianmian reach level 10 first, Luo Zhe gave her a kimchi workshop construction blueprint. Luo gave her a construction blueprint for an oil press workshop. Nie Yangguang sent over a construction blueprint for a seasoning sauce workshop. These 3 blueprints can help Yun Mianmian add 70 points. Together with the blueprint that Yun Mianmian just got today, her island score can be increased by 95 points by this time tomorrow. But if you want to build all 4 blueprints, you need more than 10,000 starfish coins. Yun Mianmian's starfish coins are almost used up. She has been using up too much recently. She bought a lot of flour and fish fry, and only has 6,000 starfish coins left. There is still 10,000 starfish coins left. Where can I earn them? Yun Mianmian decided to sell some more things, probably to give players some opportunities. Starfish coins can always be opened in treasure chests recently. A silver treasure chest can open 5 to 10 starfish coins, and a gold treasure chest can open up to 20. So players have some starfish coins in their hands. Yun Mianmian wants to use all the output on the island recently to trade. It would be best if enough starfish coins can be exchanged this afternoon, and then all 4 blueprints can be started, because it will take another day and night to build. Yun Mianmian came to the warehouse. Without double, she had to use more supplies to earn 10,000 starfish coins. Fortunately, there were a lot of vegetables and fruits in recent days. Yun Mianmian put 2,000 kilograms of vegetables and fruits on the shelves at once, as well as thousands of meat, poultry and eggs. This is almost all her inventory, leaving only a part for herself and her family. This time, the products on the shelves did not sell as fast as last time, because recently players also know the importance of starfish coins. Not everyone is willing to trade starfish coins for food, and everyone's demand for food has also decreased. Food can be opened in treasure chests, and can also be bought in the mall. Although the fruits and vegetables sold by Yun Mianmian taste better, more and more level 9 players have put food on the shelves in the trading center recently, and everyone has bought enough. Yun Mianmian's things have not been sold out even after being put on the shelves for several hours. In this case, she will not be able to collect enough starfish coins today. After exchanging more than 5,000 starfish coins, plus the one she had left, Yun Mianmian hurried to build a toy workshop and an oil press workshop. There are more than 3,000 starfish coins left, and Yun Mianmian plans to use them to upgrade the breeding room and buy flower seedlings. Yun Mianmian couldn't make the other 2 drawings herself, so she returned them to Nie Yangguang and Luo Zhe. Hu Yuan helped her think of a way. Let her rent the workshop on the island to the players in the Union and collect starfish coins as rent. including the one just built. Yun Mian currently has a total of 6 workshops, including the mill, sausage baking room, bakery, primary jam workshop, unfinished toy workshop and oil press workshop. Yun Mian has no time to take care of it anyway, so it is better to rent it to the players of the union. Collect starfish coins every day, and let the players deal with the harvest themselves. The rent of the workshop is 100 starfish coins a day, and 6 workshops can get 600 starfish coins. The land can also be rented out, and the vegetable field can be planted and harvested. The pasture can be used to graze cattle and sheep. All of these can be rented out to others to do. Yun Mian can earn a lot of starfish coins as long as he collects rent, and can also provide benefits to union members. Many level 8 players in the guild were willing to do so. They also had some starfish coins saved up. They didn't have 1,000, but they could take out a few hundred. As long as 10 people were willing to take out a few hundred, they could get several thousand together. Yun Mian could use these starfish coins to upgrade the warehouse and breeding house. This was a good idea. Yun Mian listened to Hu Yuan's suggestion, selected a few players from the guild, and after signing the contract, handed over the right to exercise several workshops on the island to the players. As for the pasture, vegetable field and fish pond, Yun Mian did not rent them to others, but let Gu Fong take care of them. Although Gu Fong could not take out many starfish coins, Gu Fong had been producing with the production team there, and the output was very high, so Yun Mian was more confident to hand it over to him. Chapter 174 Volcano Season, 98 Days. In order to reach level 10 as quickly as possible, Yun Mian exchanged everything in the warehouse, just to get more starfish coins. The island has new output every day, which can be exchanged for a large amount of supplies. But as more people reach level 9, starfish coins are becoming more and more popular, and it is more difficult for Yun Mian to exchange starfish coins. At the beginning, 2 kilograms of vegetables could be exchanged for a few starfish coins, but now it takes 10 kilograms. The value of starfish coins is increasing, but fortunately Yun Mian has enough supplies. Wei Yue is also speeding up the work. Yun Mian can get the situation of Wei Yue Island in real time from Hu Yuan. She was busy with her own affairs before and didn't ask. In fact, if she wanted to know, it would be easy to find out. What's more, Wei Yue didn't guard against her. If she really didn't want her to know, she wouldn't have asked Hu Yuan's people to go to the island to do things. In addition to Yun Mian's strongest guild, other players also established several guilds. The scale is not large, and the development can't compare with the strongest guild. But after all, the strongest guild can't recruit all players. Some players, who can't get in, can only join other guilds as a second choice. Having a guild is very helpful for the upgrade of players, and the development of advanced players. Yun Mian distributed the supplies to the players in the guild, and also received the starfish coins handed in by the players. Players in the guild can not only get fruits and vegetables and food, but also get eggs, duck eggs, goose eggs, and even lambs and piglets produced in Yun Mian's breeding house. Of course, to get living things, the contribution value must reach a certain amount. The guild requires players to hand in 1 starfish coin every day, which is the minimum standard. Players can also give more, and correspondingly, they will get more contribution value. If the contribution value accumulates more, you can upgrade. At first, you are an ordinary member, and you can upgrade to a formal member when the contribution value reaches 200. You can enter the official group of the guild, get the opportunity to chat with the bosses, and ask the bosses some questions and get answers. Of course, these big guys are actually Yun Mian, Luo, Luo Zhe, Wei Yue, Lin Qi, Zhao Yichen and others. Nie Yongguang is also there, but he is chatting with the members most of the time. For ordinary players, being able to get in touch with Yun Mian and other high-level players is what they look forward to the most. After all, Yun Mian and Wei Yue are the top big guys in the hearts of many players. They can only be seen in the rankings, and they have to take screenshots to commemorate their speeches in the chat channel. With the help of all parties, the surroundings of Yun Mian's courtyard have become full of birdsong and flowers. After continuous expansion, pavilions, towers, and rockery gardens have been added. The island's score finally reached 793. There was only a little bit left. When Yun Mian woke up, she saw the island information and decided to make a final effort. She took out the lucky dice. She had ordinary luck in the past 2 days, But today she finally had the good luck of having her wish come true. Yun Minmin, who had not yet received her daily treasure chest, hurried to the door to get the treasure chest. With her prayers, she actually got a diamond treasure chest and 2 gold treasure chests. It was simply amazing. Yun Minmin was full of confidence, and she opened the diamond treasure chest without hesitation. The white light belonging to the diamond treasure chest flashed. Obtained, spinning wheel construction drawings ×1. Cheese machine drawings ×1. Oil press drawings ×1. Milk processing plant construction drawings ×1. Flour processing plant construction drawings ×1. Yun Minmin was overwhelmed by the various blueprints. She clicked on them one by one. As long as she built one, the island score would reach more than 800. But it would take time. This was not what Yun Minmin needed most. She wanted to increase the island score immediately. Only a few points away. And she didn't want to wait another day. Yun Minmin set her sights on the other 2 gold treasure chests. Get outdoor double abdominal muscle board ×1. Climbing machine ×2. Children's seesaw ×1. Single column walker ×1. This box is full of outdoor fitness equipment. These can be placed directly in a small park or next to a garden to create a fitness activity area. Open another treasure chest. Obtain 20 rose seedlings, 20 tulip seedlings, 20 hydrangea seedlings, 20 baby's breath seedlings, and 20 sunflower seedlings. These are not bad either. It takes about an hour to plant them all. Although each seedling doesn't add much, it is more or less useful when accumulated. Yun Minmin called Wally and Eva to help. And soon the fitness equipment was arranged. She was also very good at planting flowers. These days, she learned a lot of gardening knowledge from Mario. And her experience in planting has greatly increased. Soon, all the seedlings were planted in categories. When Yun Minmin saw that the island score reached 801 points, she almost burst into tears. Finally, today is the 98th day. All the conditions for upgrading are met. Yun Minmin quickly clicked the upgrade button. You know, she was a little nervous when she clicked OK. This has never happened before. As soon as she confirmed, she heard the system prompt. Entering the upgrade state. Please wait patiently. In the past, on the ship, there was an upgrade countdown every time the ship was upgraded. Now it has become an island. And Yun Minmin doesn't know what will happen. She is looking forward to seeing the changes on the island. She also wants to know what will happen after the system says level 10. 10 minutes later. Congratulations to player Yun Minmin for becoming the first level 10 player in the game. By passing the game test, you will become the first player who can return to reality. Yun Minmin, it turns out that I can really go back. But if she goes back alone and her family can't leave, she will choose to stay with her family. At this moment, the panel in front of Yun Minmin slowly flew up, floating in the air, and turned into a huge light curtain. A flickering figure appeared on the light curtain. Yun Minmin looked at the figure in confusion. Soon, she heard a strange voice. Not the mechanical sound of the system, but the voice of a human. Hello. I am the person in charge of the recovery plan. When you see this video, it means that you have passed the test, and you will take on the responsibility of saving mankind. Since you can pass this test, it means that you have such ability. The world has already ended. The World Savior Organization has sealed the will of the surviving humans, and selected a part of human consciousness to be put into the Doomsday game. Only those who pass the test within the specified time can lead humans back to the real world and truly rebuild their homes. This is a game, but also reality. The real world is even worse than the game. Our Earth is already riddled with holes, and the global ocean has been hit by various natural disasters. After hundreds of years, there are finally signs of life. So we started this plan. The game has been played for 2 cycles, and only you have passed the test. Yun Minmin's brain was spinning fast. The amount of information was too much. She had to receive too many things at once, and she couldn't react. What? Before she came to the game, she was still traveling and eating popsicles. How come the world is already doomsday? It seems that Yun Minmin's thoughts have been guessed long ago. The figure on the screen is still talking. In order to let you, the chosen ones, play the game without knowing it, your memory has been processed, and all the information about the end of the world has been eliminated, leaving only a certain node in your life stage. Yun Minmin immediately thought, is she more than 22 years old in the real world? Maybe 30? But this is not important. The important thing is, she is going to save the world? How to save it? Only she passed the test. What about the others? It's probably not possible for her to do it alone. You will be the leader of the recovery plan, leading all level 9 players back to the real world to start the rescue plan. Players who have not reached level 9 will continue to stay in the game until the system determines that they have passed the test. If reaching level 9 is enough, then her family and friends have basically reached it. Yun Yanyan breathed a sigh of relief, which is not bad. But this person said that the real world is worse than the game. How bad would it be? Yun Yanyan couldn't imagine it. After all, the game was cruel enough. Can you see what the real world looks like now? Yun Yanyan spoke to the person on the light screen. But the other party did not respond. It was just a video. Yun Yanyan could not hear what she said, nor could she respond to her. But what should she do now? The figure on the screen disappeared. The system's voice appeared. Congratulations to the player for being the first to reach level 10. You have received the maximum level reward and 1 super survival gift box, 1 savior plan supply box, and the list of all level 9 players in the server. The channel back to reality will be opened. The system will notify all level 9 players to form a savior team, and you will become the captain. Yun Yanyan remembered a sentence in her heart. There is a long way to go. How come it's so hard to reach level 10? And it's obviously the maximum level. But everything has to start all over again. A few minutes later, Yun Yanyan received messages from many people. They all asked her what was going on, why there was suddenly a rescuer team, and the system sent a notification to let them follow Yun Yanyan back to the real world. It seemed that everyone had received the same message. Yun Yanyan simply relayed the words of the figure, copied and pasted them to send to everyone. She had a list of level 9 players on hand, with a total of less than 200 people. She was now the leader of these 200 people. Xiao Ruowei, baby, don't feel pressured. No matter what, Mom will be with you. Mom is proud of you. Yun Xiao's sister, saving the world depends on you. Ye Yongguang, damn. Mian Mian, the captain of the savior team. So cool. Luo Zhe, sister Mian Mian, what are you going to do now? I want to come to you. My sister and I will always be your backers. Luo, Mian Mian, don't worry. We will work together. Rongyu, you still need a few weapons. They are almost ready, and you can take them to the real world. To be honest, she is actually quite confused now. But seeing so many messages has given her a lot of motivation. The company and trust of family and friends is the most useful reassurance. Wei Yu's message came late. Wei Yue, I just upgraded and received the news that you have upgraded. Captain, I will follow you from now on. As the second player to reach level 10, Wei Yue was only half an hour slower. But the difference was huge. Yun Yanyan was the captain, and he was just one of many team members. But the opponent was Yun Yanyan, so he had nothing to be unwilling about. He worked hard to upgrade because he wanted to catch up with her and surpass her. But Wei Yue would not be unhappy to be surpassed by her, seeing that she became the captain. Wei Yue had already made many plans to assist her. Back to the real world, rebuilding the home. It seems that we will have to work together day and night in the future. Chapter 175. After becoming a level 10 player, all the supplies on Yun Yanyan's Cloud Island entered Yun Yanyan's backpack, and she could bring all the resources here back to the real world. Her backpack became a portable space, not bound by grids, and could hold countless things. As a full-level player, Yun Yanyan could return to the real world first. Other level 9 players stayed in the game. If they reached level 10, they could go to the real world on their own. If they did not upgrade, they would wait until the end of the volcanic season and receive Yun Yanyan's summons before going to the real world. Before leaving, Yun Yanyan opened the Super Survival Gift Box. Radiation Detector ×1. Protective Armor ×1. Soil Converter ×1. Material Point Distribution Map ×1. High Quality Shelter Reminder Card ×1. Then she opened the Savior Plan Material Box. First Aid Kit ×10. Adrenaline Needle ×10. Safety Helmet ×1. Private Terminal ×1. These things can help Yun Yanyan quickly find a suitable development base in the real world. After getting ready, Yun Yanyan clicked the teleport option, and was about to leave the game and return to the real world. A white light enveloped Yun Yanyan. After a long loading process, Yun Yanyan felt a severe headache. When she recovered and opened her eyes, she found herself in the middle of a vast ocean. She didn't react for a moment, so she drank a few mouthfuls of seawater and paddled quickly to float on the water. She took out a lifeboat from her backpack, and only after she got on could she look around. She could see the land in the distance, and it would take at least 10 minutes to paddle to the shore. The system had sent her the situation in the real world. Yun Mian had been mentally prepared before coming. But she was still greatly shocked when she saw everything in front of her. It is now the 187th year after the apocalypse. At first, it was just global warming, melting glaciers, and global oceanization, with a small part of the land left to survive. But soon nuclear war broke out among countries. The whole world was destroyed. And the whole world was affected by radiation. Some people survived by hiding in the shelter. After struggling for 100 years, human civilization still went extinct. The Earth was no longer suitable for human survival. Fortunately, when the end of the world came, the Savior organization sealed the consciousness of some people and saved them. Until a few years ago, the radiation gradually disappeared and there were signs of life on the land. The consciousness of these people was set into the game. As long as they passed the test of the game, they could get the remaining resources of mankind to rebuild their homes. All the materials that players get in the game are the remaining materials of mankind. Today, the Earth has finally been repaired. But the environment is still very bad. Although the radiation has gradually disappeared, most of the world is full of oceans. And the remaining land is all polluted wasteland. If you want to rebuild your home, it will not be done overnight. Yun Mian was looking at a strange desert, with yellow sand all over the sky. The whole world was terribly quiet. There was no life here. Only a dead silence. How to survive in such a place? Yun Mian could not imagine. Everything that followed was left to her. No tasks. No system. She could only contact the people on the list of level 9 players through a private terminal. Yun Mian decided to find a place to stay first. The barren wasteland made her feel unfamiliar. And the temperature was very high now. The high temperature of nearly 40 degrees made it difficult for Yun Mian to walk outdoors for too long. She had to find a place to rest as soon as possible to avoid moving under the scorching sun. The living environment here is indeed more difficult than in the game. In order to use the radiation detector, Yun Mian cannot let Xioi carry her on her back. Although the radiation is weakened, there are still some places where the radiation index exceeds the standard. She has to avoid areas with strong radiation to avoid being affected by radiation. So she must walk on the ground with the detector in her hand. After walking for about an hour, Yun Mian drank 2 bottles of electrolyte water and barely stayed awake without heat stroke. In such hot weather, she didn't want her pets to suffer with her. So she didn't let Xioi and Octopus Girl out. Eva and Wally both need energy stones to charge before they can be used. If there is nothing important that needs their help, Yun Mian doesn't plan to waste energy stones. It is estimated that before they can be charged, energy stones will be needed to wake up the robots. Yun Mian decided to rely on herself in the early stage. Fortunately, Yun Mian had a distribution map of supply points. So Yun Mian quickly found the nearest supply point. It was on the back of a hillside, where the radiation was very weak and even some shrubs grew. Yun Mian took out the high-quality shelter reminder card from her backpack. The function of this card is to quickly help her find suitable land within a few kilometers, so that she can build her own shelter on this land. Although there is only wasteland around here, Yun Mian soon found a piece of land with green grass after using the reminder card. Since green grass has grown here, it means that the soil has changed. At least it can be used to grow plants. Although only a small piece of land grew grass. But Yun Mian can use the soil converter to convert the nearby uncultivated land into cultivable land. A soil converter can convert 10 square meters of land every day. Yun Mian decided to build a shelter here. She first took out the soil converter, placed it on the wasteland not far away, and clicked to use it. At the same time, she cut down the dry bushes nearby and started a fire. All the supplies were in her backpack. So Yun Mian could even take out a whole set of furniture to live here, such as a bed, mattress, quilt, pillow, and she could put it out directly if she wanted. But there was no house. If the wind and sand blew, everything would get dirty. It would be better to build a simple wooden house and sleep in a sleeping bag. After she built the house, she would take out the furniture in her backpack and use it. It didn't take much effort to build a simple temporary shelter, and Yun Mian's sleeping bag just fit in it. She took out the food from her backpack, made a rice ball with rice, barbecue and sausage, heated it on the fire and ate it. After eating the delicious rice ball, her physical strength recovered a lot. With a glass of juice, Yun Mian's body and mind were slightly healed. At this time, Yun Mian's terminal rang. She received a message from Wei Yue. Wei Yue is also level 10. So he can also come to the real world. But he is not in a hurry to come. He is not the first player to reach the maximum level. So he does not get many rewards. It is not a wise choice to rush to the real world. He can use the remaining 2 days to earn more supplies in the game, and then come back. However, he is different from other players. After reaching level 10, he got a private terminal, and can actively send messages to Yun Minyan. Unlike other level 9 players, they can only wait until the volcanic season ends before Yun Minyan summons them to the real world. Wei Yue, how is your situation? Yun Minyan thought that she could not contact people in the game in the past 2 days. So she was a little surprised when she received the message. Yun Minyan took a few photos and sent them to Wei Yue. Yun Minyan, it's okay. I just had lunch and will go to the supply point to find things in the afternoon. Wei Yue, I will come the day after tomorrow at the latest. If you need my help, please send me a message in time. Yun Minyan, okay. The volcanic season will end the day after tomorrow. You don't have to rush to come. It's the same if you come with everyone. Wei Yue, I know. Yun Minyan, tell others that I am fine here. She can't contact everyone now. So she can ask Wei Yue to tell everyone about her situation, so that her family and friends don't worry. When Wei Yue saw the photos sent by Yun Minyan, he knew that the situation in the real world was very bad. But he couldn't run over impulsively. He stayed in the game world to do more things. He could do more things in the real world. Although Yun Minyan knew that the supply point was near her, she still had to look for it slowly. Because the distribution map only shows the approximate location. It may be buried under the soil, and luck is needed to find it. Yun Minyan planned to wait until the sun was not so hot before searching. But at more than 3 o'clock, the sun was still scorching and dazzling. Yun Minyan couldn't wait any longer. She lay in the sleeping bag for an hour, and her physical strength had recovered. She decided to go around and try her luck. She had the good luck bonus of making her wish come true today, and it was estimated that she would find it in a short time. Sure enough, it didn't take long for Yun Minyan to find a tunnel. After entering, Yun Minyan was sure that this was the resource point. This is probably a shelter left by humans, with some survival supplies inside. It has been so long. Most of these supplies are no longer usable. Yun Minyan carefully selected for a long time before finding a few usable things. A box of medicine sealed in glass bottles, including anti-inflammatory drugs and painkillers. Several packets of plant seeds. The words on them are no longer clear, and Yun Minyan can't tell what plant seeds they are. There is also a filter and a gas mask. The other things are either rotten or moldy and rusty, and can't be used. The entire resource point only got these supplies. Although there are not many things, it is better than nothing. Yun Minyan put them in her backpack and left. What she needs to do now is to find a water source. This place is not far from the sea, but what she needs is freshwater resources. Although seawater can be filtered, it cannot be used for planting and irrigation. If you get seawater and filter it every day, it will be too troublesome. It is impossible to do it every day. Yun Minyan must find freshwater resources. Finding freshwater resources before dark is her most important task at the moment. It is almost impossible to find water that can be drunk directly in the Doomsday Wasteland. But now the radiation has gradually disappeared. Maybe the pollution of the water source is not so serious. It only needs to be processed by the filter, and it may be usable. Anyway, she has a radiation detector in her hand. As long as there is radiation in the water, she will know it after testing. Yun Minyan was lucky. It didn't take her long to find a river before dark. The river was not far from the shelter she chose, and it only took half an hour to walk there. After using a radiation detector to detect it, it was found that the radiation in the river was very small, almost negligible. This surprised Yun Minyan very much. She could transport the fresh water to the shelter, or plant it next to the river. Of course, there was another way, which was to divert the river water. Yun Minyan thought for a while, and chose the most convenient method, which was to directly take the water and put it in the backpack. When there were more people in the future, she would make a water pipe to divert the water there. She took out a dozen plastic buckets from her backpack, filled them all at once, and then put them back into her backpack. When she returned to the shelter, it was already dark. Yun Minyan made a bracket, inserted it into the ground and fixed it, and hung the lamp on it. She couldn't spend all the night sleeping, so she decided to plant the land in the dark with the lamp on. She took a hoe and dug up the piece of land with green grass. This piece of land can be planted without the treatment of the soil converter. So it can be planted tonight. But before that, she needs to remove the weeds. After weeding, Yun Mian selected spinach seeds, cabbage seeds, and cucumber seeds from her backpack and planted them separately. Tomorrow, with the help of the soil converter, there will be another 10 square meters of land for planting. Yun Mian plans to plant some more fruits tomorrow. This is the real world, and it will take a long time for these seeds to grow after being planted. Yun Mian glanced at her backpack. Fortunately, she had enough supplies. If she survived alone, the supplies in her backpack would be enough for her to eat until she died. These were all the wealth she had accumulated in the game. But if she used them to rebuild her home, it was far from enough. Chapter 176 Volcano Season, Final Chapter. It was already late after finishing her work, and Yun Mian remembered the 2 pets in her backpack. After coming to the real world, she had not released them yet. As a result, she just took out the pet bag, but found that Octopus Sister and Xiaoyi had changed their appearance. Not only did their size become much smaller, but there were also subtle differences in their appearance. The most important thing is that they can no longer communicate with Yun Mian. But the look in their eyes, when they looked at Yun Mian, was still very familiar. It is estimated that they have become ordinary animals, and their special skills have disappeared. Yun Mian was a little disappointed, but she thought it was normal. After all, this is not a game, but the real world. Yun Mian touched them and thought, as long as they are still by my side, it will be fine. Although they cannot communicate, they will respond when Yun Mian talks to them. When they are called by their names, they will also rub against Yun Mian affectionately. Now that she has returned to the real world, Yun Mian must quickly get used to the places she needs to adapt to. The next day, Yun Mian woke up early. The first thing she did was to take out the lucky dice. It turned out that the lucky dice had also changed. It was no longer the 6-sided good luck dice before, but an ordinary number dice. Yun Mian paused and took it in her hand to look at it carefully. It really has changed. I used it yesterday morning because I was still in the game. Now that I am back in the real world, her golden finger has disappeared. It is impossible not to be disappointed. But Yun Mian quickly calmed down. The lucky dice helped her a lot, and now that it has retired, she should accept it. Anyway, her luck in the real world is also very good. Even without the help of the lucky dice, she should be able to live well. Yun Mian held the dice tightly and put it away solemnly. In the morning, Yun Mian planned to water the seeds planted yesterday, because the temperature in the morning was not high, close to 30 degrees Celsius. After a night of filtration, the water was clean and could be used for irrigation. After watering, she had to build a house quickly, at least a sealed house, so that the constant temperature air conditioner could be put in. At noon, she couldn't do much physical work because the weather was too hot. At this time, Wei Yue sent a message to Yun Mian again. He asked Yun Mian what she was doing. Yun Mian told him truthfully that she was building a house. Wei Yue, didn't you bring your house to the real world? Yun Mian frowned and immediately realized that she had moved all the supplies on the island. So she had brought the courtyard as well. There were too many things in her backpack, and all the supplies were squeezed into the backpack. She had never thought that the courtyard house could be taken out. She just wanted to rebuild her home and start all over again. Wei Yue, in addition to the house, the land on the island should also be taken out. You can try it. Yun Mian. Okay. She was completely trapped in a misunderstanding. She thought that she would have to start a difficult reconstruction and survive in the wasteland when she returned to the real world. It turned out that she just changed the place to develop. The system did not explain it clearly at all, and made the situation very difficult. So she completely misunderstood. Wei Yue's words awakened the dreamer. Wei Yue knew more than her before he came to the real world. Yun Mian couldn't help but blush. How did you know? Wei Yue, after reaching the maximum level, I got a chance to communicate with the system. It was probably the same hidden reward you got before. I asked the system a lot of questions about returning to the real world. Yun Mian didn't know she was going to return to the real world when she got the chance to communicate with the system. So the questions she asked were all about the game. Later, when she reached the maximum level, she came back directly. Wei Yue, so I stayed in the game to collect more supplies. I have collected almost all of them now. I will come to you tomorrow. Taking advantage of the last minute, Wei Yue mobilized all the manpower in District 1 to help him collect resources. All his warehouses have been upgraded to the highest level and are full. Yun Mian, okay. Then I'll try to take out everything in my backpack. Her mind was no longer on chatting at this time. She couldn't wait to take out the courtyard. There were also some planted land, orchards, fish ponds, and even pastures. After taking them all out, wouldn't she be able to start the life of a happy farmer in the real world again? Yun Mian suddenly felt the joy of a full-level boss coming to another world. She took out the courtyard and found a suitable place to put it down. The familiar house immediately appeared in front of her. Then came the garden, fields, orchards, pastures, fish ponds. All of these were brought to the real world. Yun Mian was very excited. With these, rebuilding her home was not a problem at all. Although the fields she took out were empty, there were no fruit trees in the orchard, no cattle and sheep on the pasture, and no fish in the fish pond. But she could slowly expand. Although the growth rate of plants and animals in the real world was not as fast as in the game. As long as she was patient and willing to spend time, this land would become full of vitality again. The last day of the volcanic season. The system sent a notice to the whole server. Countdown to the last day of the volcanic season. Players who have not yet reached level 9 will return to the rainy season again. And the end of the sea survival will enter the next era. This is the notification received by players below level 9. As for players above level 9, they receive different messages. The end of the sea survival is about to end. Players above level 9 will return to the real world to participate in the reconstruction plan. Players can decide whether to return to the real world. Players who choose to go back will be teleported back after the volcanic season ends. Otherwise, the supplies will be reset, and the game will be back to the initial state and start again. Some players who don't want to return to the real world saw this message and cursed it angrily. Isn't this forcing players to go back? Who would be willing to stay if the supplies are reset? Some people are eager to go back early, and can't wait to click the teleport button now. But the system stipulates that level 9 players can only go back after the volcanic season ends. Only players who have reached the maximum level can return to the real world in advance. Coincidentally, Luo Zhe and Ye Yangwang have already sprinted to the maximum level. They have just received the gift package rewarded by the system and got a private terminal. They communicated with Yun Mian, who asked them to collect more supplies in the game before coming back. The two had to stay for another day. Yun Mian informed the two of the information she got from Wei Yue and asked them to pass it on to Xiao Ruowei and Yun Xiao, asking them to replace all the things that were useless in the real world with useful supplies. It was not dark yet, and Yun Mian was lying in the yard planting flowers. The courtyard used a constant temperature system, and the temperature was the most comfortable whether it was day or night. She planned to plant roses all over the yard, and some more roses outside the courtyard. It is most suitable to plant roses in the yard. Roses have a strong fragrance and many uses. They can not only be used to extract rose essential oil, but also make rose tea, rose wine, and even rose cakes and rose jam. As for roses, they are a vine plant that needs to climb flower racks or walls to grow. It is more beautiful to plant them outside. When the front wall is surrounded by roses, it must be very beautiful when the flowers bloom. Border Collie Ollie was also released by Yun Mian and has been following Yun Mian. No matter where Yun Mian goes, it lies beside her. Octopus Girl still likes to stay in the fish tank. She always stands on the roof and watches Yun Mian work, occasionally flying into the sky for a few circles. The robot Wally is cleaning, and Eva is on standby. Such a heavenly day is really pleasant. Yun Mian is going to the kitchen to prepare food for tomorrow. Everyone will be back tomorrow, and she plans to cook a big table of delicious food to welcome her family and friends. At this time, Wei Yue sent a message. Send me your location. I'll come to find you. Yun Mian reacted immediately, and Wei Yue also returned to the real world. Yun Mian, don't you go find a suitable place to settle first? It stands to reason that it would be best to find one near a resource point. And Yun Mian was not sure whether the place where Wei Yue teleported back was far from her. Wei Yue, you can find one near you. Let's see if you are far away. Yun Mian sent him the location. Is it far? Wei Yue looked at the distance. 2,000 kilometers. Wei Yue, not bad. Not far. I'll come to find you now. Yun Mian, okay. How long will it take you to get there? Yun Mian heard him say it was not far, thinking that they could have dinner together later. Wei Yue, about 3 hours. Wei Yue was teleported to the sea. He had to sail ashore first, and then find a place to use a helicopter. After all this, 3 hours should be about right. When Yun Yan heard it would take 3 hours, she thought, this is not far. Wei Yue really doesn't mind the trouble. But it is indeed convenient to gather together. If something happens, we can be close to each other and take care of it. Yun Yan, then I won't wait for you. I'll eat first. Send me a message when you arrive. Wei Yue, okay. It was said that it would take 3 hours to arrive. But in fact Wei Yue had some problems on the way and didn't arrive near the location Yun Yan sent until nearly 11 o'clock in the evening. Seeing that it was too late, Wei Yue didn't go to find Yun Yan to avoid delaying her rest. It just so happened that he also had to find a suitable place to live nearby. After taking out the house, it was not convenient to change the location, because the things inside were all packed together in the backpack. But if you want to put them back after taking them out, you have to put them back one by one and take them out again. He sent a message to Yun Yan, saying that he would not come to see her tonight, and asked her to go to bed first and see her tomorrow morning. Yun Yan was also sleepy, so she replied with a good after receiving the message. Wei Yue saw Yun Yan's courtyard from a distance. He built his English-style manor just south of the courtyard, and he could see the gate of Yun Yan's courtyard from the balcony on the second floor of the manor. This distance was just right. From his residence, it would take about 10 minutes to walk to Yun Yan's residence. As for some other facilities, Wei Yue planned to find a place to put them tomorrow morning. Everyone else would come tomorrow. It would be better for him to determine the residence in advance. Yun Yan's private terminal started beeping early in the morning. The first thing she did when she opened her eyes was to reply to messages. It seemed that everyone had got their private terminals. Xiao Ruowei, Yun Xiao, Ye Yangguang, Luo Zhe, Luo Luo, Rong Yu, Hu Yuan. More than a dozen people sent messages to Yun Yan. Everyone was asking Yun Yan where she was, and were ready to come find her. Yun Yan replied one by one, first telling her mother and brother where she was, to see if they were far away. If it was inconvenient, Yun Yan planned to pick them up in person. Now that she was back in the real world, Yun Yan felt that the family could live together. Even if they didn't live in the same house, they could still be neighbors. It would be more lively to visit each other and have a meal or something. She had thought it through. She had a few plots of land next to her residence, which was just enough for her mother and brother to build their houses next to it. Yun Yan washed up and just walked out of the courtyard. She saw an English manor not far away. Isn't that Wei Yue's house? The location was not far from her. Yun Yan was stunned for a moment before she realized that Wei Yue had become her new neighbor. She took out a telescope and looked towards the English manor. She could actually see Wei Yue standing at the door of the manor. She didn't know what he was doing. Fortunately, she could only see the door and not the inside. Otherwise she could spy on other people's privacy with a telescope. Wei Yue suddenly turned around and looked at Yun Mian. Yun Mian quickly put down the telescope. She opened the terminal and saw that Wei Yue had also sent her a message in the morning, asking her if she had gotten up. Yun Mian replied that she had gotten up. Wei Yue sent another message. I stayed near you last night. If it's not convenient, I'll move to another place. Since everyone said so, Yun Mian couldn't say anything. This piece of land was not Yun Mian's private property, and Wei Yue was some distance away. It's okay. When Mom and Yun Xiao come, it's okay to let them stay on the other side. The ranch in the north is also a good place. Yun Mian thought so, and opened the conversation between Mom and Yun Xiao to check the distance between them and herself. Her mother is more than 500 kilometers away from her, and Yun Xiao is 400 kilometers away from her. It takes some time to get here. As for the others, they are not particularly close. The closest one is Ye Yangguang, who is also more than 100 kilometers away. Yun Yan plans to take this time to prepare lunch first, and she thinks they can have lunch together when everyone arrives. Wei Yue sent a message to ask her what she plans to do. Yun Yan, cooking. Everyone will be here soon. Wei Yue, do you need help? Yun Yan, aren't you busy? Wei Yue, I mainly want to eat for free. Yun Yan, ha ha. That's fine. You bring your own ingredients and come to help. One more mouth is just one more pair of chopsticks. But it is good to get a free labor force to help wash and cut vegetables. Even peeling garlic can help a little. Otherwise, it is really troublesome for Yun Yan to cook for a group of people by herself. So Yun Mian was quite happy to let Wei Yue come to help. Luo Zhe and Ye Yangguang arrived at Yun Mian's courtyard almost at the same time. The two met at the door and said hello. Nie Yongguang came by bike, all covered in dust. Luo Zhe used a small flying machine, which was his upgrade reward. He specially made it with a workbench last night and improved it a little. It happened to be used today. Otherwise, he would not have come so quickly. He thought he should be the first to arrive. And he was stunned when he saw Nie Yongguang. You are so close too, Nie Yongguang said with a smile. Luo Zhe did not explain and walked into the courtyard with him. Before they came, Yun Mianmian told him to come in directly, as she was cooking in the kitchen. As soon as they walked in, they heard the dog barking. Aoli barked when she heard a stranger coming to the door. And it didn't stop until Yun Mianmian asked it to stop barking. Hearing Yun Mianmian's voice, Luo Zhe quickened his pace. Just as he was about to call Mianmian's sister, he saw someone walking out from behind Yun Mianmian. Wei Yue stood behind Yun Mianmian, a head taller than her. Very conspicuous. Yun Mianmian held a spatula in her hand, and Wei Yue held a bunch of green vegetables in her hand. Nie Yongguang said in surprise, "It turns out that someone came before us." Luo Zhe stared at Wei Yue with an unhappy look on his face. Yun Mianmian, it's just right that you are here. Come and help. I've been busy for a long time. Wei Yue, the vegetables are washed. I'll help you cut the ingredients. Luo Zhe, Sister Mian Mian. What do you need me to do? Yun Mian Mian thought for a while. Help me to deal with the fish. Nie Yongguang, what about me? Yun Mian Mian randomly assigned him a job. Peel the garlic. When everyone was gathered, Yun Mian Mian started to serve the dishes. Xiao Ruowei, Yun Xiao, Luo Luo, Luo Zhe, Wei Yue, Nie Yongguang, Wen Yu Shi, Rong Yu, Hu Yuan, Xiao Yichen, Shen Qianju, all came to Yun Mian Mian's courtyard. Gu Feng and Lin Qi were too far away, and they were still on the road at this time, so he didn't wait for them. Yun Mian Mian cooked more than a dozen dishes and filled a large round table. Xiao Ruowei sat on the left side of Yun Mianmian. The seat on the right was empty. Yun Mianmian called Luo Luo to come and sit. Luo Luo glanced at Luo Zhe and asked him to sit next to Yun Mianmian. The other sat down. Wei Yue sat diagonally opposite Yun Mianmian and took out 2 bottles of wine from her backpack. A bottle of red wine of a good vintage and a bottle of Matai. Yun Mianmian nodded with satisfaction. Wei Yue was quite good at handling things. I am so happy today. I should have a drink. Nie Yongguang happily poured wine for everyone. Yun Mianmian stood up and picked up the glass and said to everyone, "This glass of wine is to celebrate that we can all return to the real world safely. I hope we can all get better and better in the future." Simple words contain the most sincere blessings. Everyone raised their glasses and clinked them. Seeing her family and friends around her, Yun Mianmian felt indescribably happy. She suddenly felt at ease. This was the first time she felt that it was good to be back. She is now full of motivation and full of hope for the future. Nie Yongguang, it's good to be back. When I find a place to live nearby, I can come here often to eat. Wen Yu Shi, Nie Yongguang, why do you only think about eating? We are back to rebuild our homeland. Nie Yongguang, Mianmian is the captain. I will follow her and listen to her. Luo Zhe, Sister Mianmian, we will all help you. Luo Luo, yes. Mianmian, let's work hard together in the future. Rong Yu, there are barren wastelands everywhere. It seems that we have some work to do. Zhao Yichen, it's just wasteland reconstruction. We have come through in the game, and the real world is the same. Hu Yuan, some level 9 players have also returned. I will gather everyone together. Rong Yu, just tell me what you need me to do. Shen Qianju, it's a small matter. We will talk about it later. Let's eat first. The food that Yun Mianmian worked so hard to make is getting cold. Wei Yue, I believe Yun Mianmian will lead us to make the earth better. Everyone said one thing after another, all of which were encouragement and support for Yun Mianmian. As the captain, Yun Mianmian said vigorously, yes. Let's work together to rebuild our home.